This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today, we are going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard wanting out of San Antonio. It has been flooding your Twitter, most likely. We're going to talk about Kawhi and landing spots for him. We're going to talk about landing spots for LeBron James. Some might say the greatest of all time. Some might not. And Ricky Widmer. We're also going to welcome in, we know who the other person is. We're going to welcome in two patrons as well. We're going to talk about the Suns draft with our boy Z, and then we're going to talk about the ultimate fantasy draft with Jake. We're going to welcome in Jake, and we're going to pick a starting five, a six-man, and a coach with our buddy Jake, going through the pantheon of old NBA players, trying to create the best lineup we possibly can. Thank you for joining us here on the Fast Break. Before we jump into the podcast, just a couple of things. If you want to be a patron like Z and Jake, head over to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. If you want to support us, we got the $10 here where you can be be on a podcast with Jake, or like Jake and Zohnny. Not like, not be on a podcast with Z and Jake, with us, but like them. You can also go to iTunes. You can rate us 5 stars there. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to go over there, help us out, help support us, and you can also help the Onsite Kick, the Primetime Podcast, and the Rick and Johnny Podcast over there. And finally, check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. We have all of our articles, all of our podcasts posted up there, and we also have our site up there if you want to support us and buy some t-shirts. Mark was just recently shipping out some t-shirts. So thank you to everybody who support us there. But boys, the big news today came in around noontime Central, that Kawhi Leonard wants out from the San Antonio Spurs. That's coming from Shams. Also on it was Woj, and I think Chris Haynes was the first one that I saw drop it as well. But Shams tweeting out, Kawhi Leonard wants out from the San Antonio Spurs. League sources tell Yahoo, and it kind of caught the Spurs, from what I'm hearing as well, off guards as well. They weren't really expecting this because Pop and Kawhi didn't meet face to face, and this is Kawhi's camp pretty much going straight to social media to say Kawhi wants out of San Antonio, and Woj is saying that his likely destination, or at least his preferable destination, is the Los Angeles Lakers. So let's talk about it. We're not too shocked because we covered it during the regular season. Kawhi obviously didn't play for the San Antonio Spurs too much. He tried out his leg a little bit, but didn't really stay committed to playing. They pulled him. They wanted him to make sure he was healthy, and he didn't see him after that January game against the Grizzlies. So let's talk about it, Ricky. You keep bringing up LeBron to the Lakers. Now Kawhi possibly to the Lakers. Should the Spurs trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers?
Well, I'm going to say yes, that they should trade him to the Lakers, only because, well, I'll say it this way. For the Spurs as a team, they shouldn't care who they trade him for. The thing that I think is the best team to trade him to from an outside would be the Lakers, only because if I'm like a Celtics, if I'm like a 76ers, why am I trading Kawhi? Why am I trading for Kawhi for a 1-year rental, half a year rental? Because the interesting thing with this is, first, the Spurs are kind of fucked with this because it's, all right, we either keep him and he leaves at the end of the year, or we trade him. But then it's like our team's going to want to trade for him, even though he's come out and said, like, I want to go to L.A., Lakers being that team. Our other team's going to want to throw assets at us just to get him for half a year, because there's no reason why Kawhi, if he goes to Philly, can't be like, yeah, this was nice, but now I'm going to leave. I'm going to go sign with the Lakers, with my hometown, where I live in the offseason and where I'm more familiar with. So this was the first domino that had to fall, and now the free agent season, the second season, starts for the NBA.
All right, Dave, should the Spurs trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers?
Should they? Yes, because I think the Lakers actually probably can give them the best deal, like money for the money back, because Kawhi coming out and his camp leaking, locations that he'd like to go to, kind of ties their hands together. But at the same time, I feel like Pop is an old man, and old men don't like being told, what to do. So I feel like there's a risk there that he just sits, like, you're staying on the Spurs the whole season until I get something that makes me want to move you.
And on that, being old school, Mark Heisler of the Orange County Register, I think it's Orange County Register, back April 21st, put out a article saying Kawhi Leonard is available, just maybe not to the Lakers. And one thing is that it's a cardinal rule not to help Western Conference rivals, much less the tradition and resources of the Lakers. So Pop, going old school, doesn't really want to help out his Western Conference rivals in the Lakers, a team that he's battled with ever since the early 2000s, late 90s, when it was the Admiral and good old Timmy D. So this is a team that he doesn't really want to help. So with Kawhi not having a no trade clause, he doesn't really dictate where he can go. He can say, I want to go here, but pissing off Pop and also kind of bailing on your team last season, and just the fact that you're going to a Western Conference rival that you're going to make Pop's job harder seems pretty stupid in my mind. So should they? Hell no. Will they? I don't think that's going to happen either. I think there's more a possibility that they will, but I don't think they should trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers. And I think one thing that I want to go off on, and I'm kind of glad one of our patrons didn't join this, because I kind of want to rant a little bit, because this whole thing is pissing me off. I'm pissed off by the Kawhi Leonard stuff. I'm pissed off by LeBron James stuff.
Why?
Because I think one thing that people are losing is patience. And I think one thing that people are losing is loyalty, and it's really just irking me. I understand that LeBron, early in his career, he wanted to go to Miami and start winning championships, start being a part of a culture that he believed in. And then once that team started going away, D Wade started getting hurt. Bosh obviously had his problems. He went back to Cleveland to make sure he got a title for his city. Now he leaves. I kind of understand that a little bit, but still there is no loyalty. He left the team that drafted him. He left his hometown to go chase rings. And, we base players, their greatness on rings. It doesn't matter that LeBron James has gone to straight 8 finals. It's imagine, 6-0 against Jordan. How many rings have you won? And now this is kind of reflecting on Kawhi Leonard. This is reflecting on Paul George. And I don't understand what's going on with Kawhi Leonard. I don't understand why this is a necessary move, because Kawhi Leonard is in a place that patience is key. This is a team that's consistently drafted. This is a team that's consistently built their team from within. This is a team that's been consistently patient with their players, and they seem to be giving Kawhi Leonard everything he wants. They're going to give him a supermax if he stays on this team, but Kawhi said that's not that important to him. He wants rings. He wants to get out of there. I don't think there's patience anymore in the NBA, and it's just irking me, because the Lakers are a team that I felt should have been patient. It's a team that I think early on in my podcasting days here at Most Valuable Podcast was a team that I said in 2 to 3 years, this team's going to be making the playoffs. Now, I was off on that, but I still think this team is heading in the right direction. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. I mean, maybe especially if Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James goes there, but again, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram. I mean, I think that they're on the right track here, and I think they're abandoning patience if they go after this, because you're abandoning Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, whoever you do trade, and giving up the hope and potential they have to go after Kawhi Leonard, a guy that hasn't been loyal to the team that he was drafted by, haven't been loyal to a coach that won him a ring and an NBA MVP, a Finals MVP, hasn't been loyal to the guy that gave him a year off. And I understand that maybe you don't want to play with LaMarcus Aldridge. Maybe they made the choice of LaMarcus Aldridge over you. But I don't understand where the loyalty is gone, and I just don't understand why Kawhi Leonard just can't have patience right now, or even LeBron James for that fact as well.
It's a players' league, and I love it.
So,
I love the mobility. I love Kawhi Leonard.
It bugs the shit out of me.
I love Kawhi Leonard basically having the everything in his favor to say, no, this is what I want. Because I look at the NFL side, and I'll bring that in a little bit. A guy like Aaron Donald, where it's like, all I have is I can skip OTAs and mandatory minicamp, but it's not going to help me. Whereas
but here's
a guy
the thing
like Kawhi Leonard can say, no, I want to dictate where I go because I'm not happy here. And again, if you're not happy with your job, what are you going to do? Stay there forever
but here,
or leave.
let's put something here. And I understand that you can pick where you work in the NBA, but also I'm pulled behind the curtain. We don't make money. This isn't a full-time job for me.
I know.
So I'm applying to jobs right now, right? And I'm applying to everywhere. Anyone that will hire me. I haven't gotten a call back, and I'm salty about that. But with that is, I'm not picking, again, a place to work. I am picking where to apply, but I'm just picking in a job field that I want to work in. And I don't really pick my salary. I don't pick where I'm working. I'm picking who anyone wants to read my job application and get my resume. But again, this is something where Kawhi Leonard has the ability to pick a supermax or not. He's still going to make hundreds of millions of dollars in the NBA. And I'm not bashing Kawhi Leonard. I'm trying to. This is my frustration in general with the league.
You're bashing where the league is right now.
I think this is something where, again, Kawhi Leonard, I just don't understand why this move is necessary for him.
I feel like you're reading too much into different things here. From my point of view, it's Kawhi and the trust in the Spurs. At this point, he feels like he's been betrayed by their doctors. He had the two most veteran players on the team come out, speak publicly, and be like, I came back from a worse injury than that. I don't understand what's taking him so long.
Basically, fall in line with Pop.
Actually speak publicly about this. Like, he'd been sheltered for so long. Like, nope, Kawhi, whatever. We're not going to talk about it. Oh, Kawhi's injured? Why don't you go ask him? I don't know. Like it just got to the point where everything coming out publicly from the Spurs, like, we finally saw the cracks in the armor of, like, this is an organization. They're not just robots. They're not soulless, like people want to perceive them as, because this is a team that has had some drama, but they kept it on the down low. They did a very good job at that. But now I feel like Pop is at the end of his time. They've made a ton of contract offers in the last couple of years that kind of put a timeline on Kawhi Leonard that maybe didn't need to be there. Dropping a ton of money on Paul Gasol, adding, extensions to Patty Mills. Yes, he's a good player off the bench, but is he worth, like $12+ million a year? I don't know. Rudy Gay coming off the Achilles, well, he did play well. You're taking a risk on a player who is at the end of his prime, if he has any prime left because of a colossal injury. So I think that there is more to it than the, like, I want to go somewhere else because I don't like this market. I don't care about my money. I just want to go play for winners. I think it's more like he lost trust in them. He feels like they lost trust in him. And then he feels like they didn't build around him to win.
And the thing that I love the most, and this is going at, like, where the league is, they collectively bargained for this, like, oh, you get $80 million more dollars of a supermax if you stay with your original team, and it's like, great, this is going to keep players with their team.
Adam Silver thoughts, yes.
And what we're learning is players are going, no, I don't need that money. I want to go play and win.
But but honestly, what's the difference between, like, again, this is stupid to say, but what is the difference between $219 million compared to $196, especially when you're getting advertisements?
That's
especially
the thing.
when you're getting
money's
sponsorship.
more.
So
players get more
especially
money
with the
through
shoe deals and stuff
like,
too.
You get more
maybe to a guy
deals
like
from endorsements.
Chandler Parsons. I was going to say Charson Pandler.
Charson Pandler.
Chandler Parsons. But again, like, Dame has no reason to stay in Portland because he has that Adidas money. LeBron has no reason to stay tied to any city because he has that Nike money forever.
Paid bank from Adidas forever.
Yeah. I mean, this is a thing where, again, the money doesn't matter. I think the players have too much power. I'm not blaming Kawhi Leonard. I don't know the situation. I don't know what he's going through. But the fact that he's going behind, this camp at least is going behind and
he wouldn't
not
talk
talking
to Pop straight to
Pop.
face. That
rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And one thing too with Kawhi Leonard is I didn't put him in my top 5 for players right now in the NBA just because of his injury. But we know his talent. He's a very talented player. But if he goes to LA, he's going to now be in the biggest market, one of the most markets that you need results right away, especially if this is basketball.
But he's not going to be going alone.
We don't know that.
We do know that.
How do we know that?
If Kawhi,
because LeBron hasn't signed yet.
No. But
Paul George hasn't
like
signed
I said,
we can't legally sign anything.
Kawhi's the first domino. If Kawhi goes to LA, LeBron's in LA like tomorrow.
Why is that?
Because he's going to go.
Is that a for sure thing? Why is that for sure?
The reason
we don't know what's in LeBron's head.
We're going to get into LeBron a little bit, but the one thing I will bring up in this is the thing that everyone's talking about is, his kid enrolled in LA. That I don't care about. The thing I care about more is his wife told him LA or Cleveland. If you're picking between the two, even without Kawhi, who are you picking? Like, Game of Zone said it perfectly with the Paul George thing. It's like, you know what? I'm going to lose the Warriors anyways. LA has beaches.
I mean, Melo went with the choice based off of his wife's preference as well. Or it weighed heavily into it, I should say. It weighed heavily. So I see the value in, like, that statement becoming public.
And if Kawhi Leonard goes there, we can win there, and I can bring PG or CP3.
Smokescreen season. The only reason why I'm saying this, the Kawhi thing isn't a smokescreen is because everybody's reporting it. But like we heard that one thing from LeBron and his wife. Anybody can make that up. You can hear that in passing. We don't know that for sure.
But we
don't know what's happening.
But we know
with
LeBron.
James.
LeBron only lets things out of his camp when he wants it let out.
But that's not something that is for sure from his camp. That can be something that just is heard in passing. Again, that is not, unless it's coming from LeBron James or if it's coming from a guy like Woj or if it's coming from a guy like Shams, then maybe I'll buy into it.
If his wife's burner accounts at it.
Yeah, if his wife's burner accounts at it, if it's just Johnny Rockets on Twitter, I don't really give a fuck. So it's something where I don't know where LeBron's going. I said on this podcast, I have a bet saying I'll paint my face purple and gold if LeBron goes to LA.
$8.
But
Get
one
ready.
thing,
I'm already ordering
But one thing
it.
too is even with Kawhi, there isn't even a lock and a secure that he's going to LA.
No.
Because Pop won't want to trade him to it because again, you're helping out a Western Conference rival. And why would you go to LA if they're not going to give you the best package? And also, if this is something that again you feel slighted by him, why would you want to keep him in the Western Conference? Would you just ship him out to the opposite side of the country and go to Boston or go to Philly?
Well, who's going to give you a better package than the team that Kawhi has verbally, his camp is verbally committed to, basically?
Boston.
Get out of
Boston
here.
will give you a better
Jalen Brown,
package.
Terry Rozier, and a pick. Get the fuck out of here.
But here's the thing: they can offer this. Boston's first, Sacramento's first if two are higher, Memphis if 9 or higher, the Clippers pick if 15 or higher. Then in 2020 they have Boston's first, Memphis's pick, the Clipper pick if it doesn't transfer. Then in 2021 they have that Memphis pick if it doesn't transfer. In 2020 they have the Boston first pick. They have so many picks.
You think he's going to unload the Anthony Davis
Lakers.
war chest on
They
Kawhi
can
Leonard?
literally give them anything they want.
Well,
So they
here's
can in picks they can give them Jalen Brown, who at least wing wise has been fantastic so far for Boston. Terry Rozier, while he wasn't consistent in the playoffs, showed really great spurts as an offensive guard, which would pair great next to DeJounte Murray, and also a boatload of picks, and they're in the Eastern
Here's
Conference.
the thing about the picks, though, and you can tell me if I'm missing any teams here. You mentioned Boston, their own pick. You mentioned a Memphis pick. You mentioned a Clipper pick.
Yeah.
What do you notice about all
playoff
those
teams.
teams? Could be playoff teams, or if not, 13 through 15, or 12, 13, 14. Do I want to be that low for Kawhi? No, I want to
At
be
the
up in
same
the top
time,
10 for
remember,
Kawhi.
this is LaMarcus Aldridge's team. They're a playoff team, Sean. Who cares about all these draft picks? I know Pop doesn't.
I mean, if Pop's getting a first-round pick, and he's also keeping his own first-round pick
Pop
at
hates
18,
kids.
Pop loves kids. What are you talking
Hates
about?
kids.
He traded up to get Kawhi Leonard.
Love that smile.
He traded up to get Kawhi Leonard. He's nurturing DeJounte Murray by himself.
Yeah, DeJounte was
a
like
joke.
late 20s. Come on, get out of here with that.
DeJounte was 19. DeJounte was a freshman.
No, I'm saying like pick-wise.
Yeah, so I'm saying like
Kawhi.
27th, and then
He was
also
late. Yeah.
18 this year, and then Kawhi was 15.
Yeah, I'm just saying. This is a team in a win-now mode. You got LaMarcus Aldridge.
Okay,
He's
so
fine.
you're going to give
He's
him
gone for his
Kyle
best
Kuzma
season.
and Brandon Ingram? How's that going to help him win now?
Kyle Kuzma.
Jalen Brown
can
and Terry
contribute.
Rozier both have playoff experience.
I think BI is actually a pretty good player.
I think Brandon Ingram is too,
I
but
think Kuzma is
also
a
I'm
good-
saying like, how is it going to help him win
And
now?
what's
Is Brandon Ingram
interesting
ready now to
is-
take over a team,
He's
especially
not
in San
taking over.
Antonio?
He's a second man. Second. And actually third.
Jalen
because you
Brown
still
has that
have-
experience.
Really? They're the same. They're basically the same thing. except
I'm
for the
saying
fact that-
playoff wise, it's not. It's a
Yeah.
fact that
He has
Jalen
more-
Brown has gone to the playoffs
You are
2
correct.
straight years.
You are correct.
I'm not saying
just
one's a better
like,
player. I'm saying
Okay.
if one guy's going to help them win now, Jalen Brown has the playoff experience. He's been in a system similar to San Antonio.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Later, like towards the Eastern Conference Finals, weren't there games where Jalen kind of disappeared?
He also was unhealthy.
Okay.
That was
I
the
was
thing.
just- I was
when he's
just
out there,
throwing out there.
when he's out there hopping, and you're like, "Oh God, no!" And he's still like dunking on because he's.
and the thing with the Lakers-
I'm not
athletic as hell.
talking about performance. I'm
Yeah.
talking the fact that Terry Rozier and Jalen Brown have both played career playoff games. Brandon Ingram has not even smelled it.
Yep.
That's the only fact I was making. What are you saying?
Well, the thing too with the Lakers is what are they even going to offer? Because most of us are thinking you're
They couldn't
going to
even get Paul George last year.
Here's the thing.
Indiana didn't want
that
that.
was an
did
Indiana
they
thing. That
wanna
was not
do
a
that?
Paul George thing, and Paul George didn't
But you
twist
don't-
Indiana's
but
arm.
But you don't think that the Laker package is not going to be similar to what they offered to Paul George for Paul George?
I mean, with the Thunder one, they did get 2 players that did help them. So it's not like
I'm not saying
I
the
can hold it
Indiana trade
against
was
them.
bad, but I'm saying that OKC made a better offer,
Yeah, but also
and the Laker one did not
But
interest
how
them.
hard was the
Paul
Laker
George
one?
didn't.
From-
Paul George didn't twist their arm and say, "I only want to go to LA." Basically, telling any other
Is
team.
Kawhi Leonard doing that? And also, Kawhi Leonard doesn't have a choice. Kawhi,
No,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
matter
Paul
what
George didn't
Kawhi
have a
says.
No. But I'm saying is,
And that's why he went to OKC.
by Kawhi Leonard saying LA and then preferencing the Lakers. Yes, like the Celtics could trade for him. But just because I trade you, now I'm giving up Rozier, I'm giving up Brown, I'm giving up all these picks just for a guy who this trade might not happen this offseason. It'll probably happen during the season maybe if Pop wants to do what you said and it's like, screw it, you're a Spur.
Yep.
I'm sending all that to you for a half a year rental.
But what does Boston not have that the LA does? It's just a different name city.
Yeah,
Boston's
exactly.
a smaller.
It's
Boston's
Kawhi
a smaller
wants to
market
play-
with a better basketball team.
Kawhi
and
wants
a better
to play
coach.
there though. Like it
And an
has
easier
nothing
route to
do
the
with,
finals.
It has nothing to do with like where I would want to play. It's Kawhi wants to go to LA, so even if he goes to Boston, we're still in the same boat then with Boston, where he'd leave Boston for LA.
But you don't think that Boston, after having a great season, pretty much going to probably the NBA Finals if they acquire Kawhi Leonard, wouldn't be able to re-sign Kawhi Leonard? Wouldn't be able to intrigue him enough? Because LA is such of a magical place.
I mean,
Well,
the Thunder
depends.
had a similar conversation with less success with Paul George right now. It's that
And Paul George might stay.
now there's the might stays.
There's
Well, it
still
depends
talk
on
that
what
Paul
LeBron
George is still
does.
interested.
That's the thing is like you're acting like it's a far gone conclusion. We're saying if
What's a
Kawhi
far
go-
gone conclusion?
like the fact that the
Paul
Lakers
Stein.
offered Paul Stein, and the fact that the Lakers offered a worse deal.
I said he was. First off, I said Paul George was interested in staying.
Yeah, if he's interested, I'll be surprised.
There are reports saying that he is interested.
And
in
there are
staying
also
with OKC.
reports saying that he's already out the door. So it doesn't matter. Reports can say whatever the hell they want to right now
fair.
because nothing's confirmed. It's all speculation, Sean. We're having a little fun
fair.
with this.
That's fair.
The
and
point
that's
being,
why I love the mobility, because we're able to talk about
the
this because
Lakers
of it.
maybe not offering the highest deal for him because he already came out publicly and said, "I want to play for the Lakers." Why are we going to give you? Why are we going to give up assets when we can just take you in free agency the following year?
Exactly. And
Well, our
that's,
team's not ready to win right now. We can't afford LeBron James right now. So why would we give up assets for the future right now?
well, and the thing that I'm thinking about too is going back to that Laker deal. Like you say, like, oh, BI and Kuzma. Whoa.
B.I., Kuzma, Josh Hart.
Why am I going to give you BI when Kawhi can just leave? I'll give you Lonzo. Like the thing that I'm hearing is that it's Lonzo and Kuzma. It's going to be two of those three guys, the BI, Kuzma, and Ball. But it's like, wait, why am I giving you BI when like Kawhi Leonard can leave? There's a chance that LeBron James can pick the Lakers, bring Paul George over, know that, hey, you know what, this year I'm not beating the Warriors, but my wife told me Cleveland or LA, and I really like LA more than Cleveland in that team that I had to drag and still lost to the Warriors.
What?
Where are
And
you going with this?
Here's what I'm going to. It goes back to another thing that Magic Johnson said. Maybe when Magic Johnson was talking about, you know what, like this offseason, we're going to go really hard into it, but it's not just going to be about this offseason, it's going to be about next offseason. What if this is the one, Lakers bring in LeBron PG, next year's the offseason, they bring in Kawhi, and then it's next year the Lakers make their push with their big three, mainly because the Spurs didn't want to trade him to the Lakers, and then they get nothing for him.
But my thought is if Kawhi goes to Boston, if Boston's able to pick him up, Boston's a better spot for them for him for the future, because it's not for sure that LeBron's going to LA. So the fact that if LeBron doesn't go to LA, then LeBron loses out on Kawhi Leonard. So if they want to make sure they get LeBron James, they probably have to trade for Kawhi Leonard now.
That's what I'm
Unless
thinking, yeah.
Kawhi doesn't get traded or gets traded to Boston, LeBron then goes, you know what, I'm just going to opt into my Cleveland deal, stay here for a year, we'll do this all next year.
Great. Can't wait.
We'll do it all next year.
Can't wait.
Yikes.
And then PG goes to LA anyways because it's his hometown and he's not going to beat the Warriors in OKC, so he goes to LA. That
Are you
could
telling
happen
me
too.
Carmelo Anthony can't carry them to a victory over the Warriors?
This is just frustrating.
Yeah.
Because again, I probably sound whiny. I probably sound annoying, and that's fine. People say I'm a know-it-all, and I try to be.
Yep.
But it's something that just bugs me, to be honest.
Well,
with
you're
you.
giving
Because-
the thought if you were Kawhi.
Well,
gets the juices
it's something
going.
that it's just so vague. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who's in the right. I don't know who's in the wrong. And ultimately, it looks like Kawhi Leonard is just throwing a fit. And one thing playing into that is if Kawhi Leonard goes to Los Angeles and LeBron does as well, and then this is going to be more on Kawhi, and that's why I'm including it in here, not in LeBron's situation. Kawhi is now going to have this massive amount of pressure on him. He is going to need to be a team that is going to take down the Warriors. That's the expectations for LA.
Is the
That
pressure
if
more
they
on
get
him,
LeBron
though,
James
or
and Kawhi
LeBron?
Leonard, well, it's going to be on LeBron, but
Yeah.
it's also going to be if LeBron has the same exact series he just did, if he's putting up over 35 points per game, grabbing 10 boards and near 8 assists, and he's shooting 50 and 37 from the field, and Kawhi Leonard no-shows, I'm not saying he will, because again, he's a fantastic, talented player. This isn't about his skills on the floor. But if he no-shows, and PG at 13 has been a guy that has no-showed before, big shots before.
Playoff P?
If this is a guy that closes down and doesn't hit big shots, he is going to be the target because you lost LeBron James' best shot, and now this Laker deal is a sham. And now you are in LA, which is the biggest market, and this is LA basketball. This is the biggest thing in LA. I mean, the Lakers dominate the market.
Levels.
So it's going to be something that you are going to get berated and bashed because you want it out of San Antonio and you can do anything with it. It's a big one because all three of them have to go there. But
I think that if the three go to LA, most of us are not going to be talking about Kawhi. We're going to be talking about LeBron. And we're going to be talking about LeBron. Oh, why didn't he stay in Cleveland? He just lost to the Warriors. It was the same thing in Cleveland. The two things that I was going to get at after what you just said is, first off, the whole Paul George thing, too. I'm hearing a lot of people say that, you know what? That might not be a foregone conclusion. LeBron, Kawhi, and why would I take Paul George, who, like you said, no-shows in big situations? What if it's a situation where CP3 goes, you know what? I'm going to be the one to join him. And then you get CP3, LeBron, and Kawhi there instead of Paul George.
Dave, final thoughts.
Fiesta?
A little bit of a party.
There's been a fiesta of words and thoughts. I think that Kawhi Leonard is probably at the will of Popovich, a man who is made unhappy recently. And I could see Pop going one two ways, like I started with.
Just lost his wife, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's a rough situation. He's probably at the end of it, like, he's either done coaching in the next 3 years, respectively. Like, I think I don't know how much he wants to keep doing it. I think for the next year he'll do it, but after that, very questionable. I think it's up to him. I think they're going to try to make it work, regardless of him saying, or Kawhi saying he doesn't want to play there. It's like, sorry, you're showing up. Or else, like that's the situation. I don't think it gets moved this offseason.
That like stubborn old man
he doesn't
mentality.
move this offseason?
I don't think he moves this offseason. Yep.
So they're just going to hold him and let him walk?
I'm going to say no trade. I'm going to say not this offseason. They still got the whole regular season to move him.
Okay. Maybe just clearing that up.
Yeah.
Where does he go?
With me,
Final thoughts.
I'm going to lean towards that the prophecy comes and he goes to LA this offseason because the Spurs realize that, you know what, we're going to get 3 players from LA. LA is going to give us draft picks as well. Yeah, we're going to have to eat Luol Deng's contract, but everything happens where LeBron, Kawhi, and then a third, Paul George or CP3, go to the Lakers.
Who do they give up? The Lakers to get Kawhi?
The Lakers are going to give up Luol Deng, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and then picks.
And
would
Josh
you take
Hart.
that?
And Josh Hart.
Probably.
You would? You think Lonzo and Kyle Kuzma could be good pieces on a playoff Spurs team?
No. But it's the best offer they're going to get, I would say.
You don't think Boston can beat that?
I think unless Boston digs heavy into that draft chest, which we'll only hear about after the Danny Ainge offered them 27 picks.
And then they didn't take it.
And they're like, no, man.
Should Danny Ainge do it?
we wouldn't even do that.
Should Danny Ainge do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think
is
Kawhi
Leonard worth it?
That's the thing. They already are wing heavy. Like, if you're moving like
You're
a player
move
like
Jalen.
Is it Jalen or is it Gordon Hayward? Because I've heard rumors of Gordon Hayward as well. And Ricky
What do you think is
Bob's
more intriguing?
I think Gordon Hayward's interesting because they just gave him all the money, and then he completely lost an entire year of his career, and he's coming off an injury, and you don't know how great he's going to be. And Kawhi's coming off a smaller injury with more time to recover.
You also got Kyrie coming off an injury.
I would go, honestly, I would ship Gordon Hayward. I think that I would be happy to take and this coming from the man who previously, Jaylen Brown disapprover, but like I would go with that.
2 things with that though.
Yep.
One, you have Gordon Hayward locked down on a contract.
Correct.
Obviously
sacrificing security.
You're gonna free up space and be able to max out Kawhi Leonard after that.
Right.
But then you're gonna risk the opportunity of maxing out Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum because it looks like those guys are on their way to max contracts.
Maxes, but we'll see.
I mean, with them, if there's money out there, especially in a couple of years.
People don't want to get max contracts anymore, Sean. That's the new cool thing.
But the other thing I want to throw out there as well is it's going to look bad for Boston if they
but they also just
signed
shipped
a guy
off,
and they just shipped him
They
off.
literally just ruined Isaiah Thomas's body,
Career.
and then now his career. So like it's not an un-Boston thing to do.
Camera's off, but it's probably good because I'm sweaty and I look distraught.
Your hands are getting all clammy.
But they've been sweaty for a while. But it's something where again I probably sound whiny. I probably sound like I'm a know-it-all. It probably also sounds like I feel like I'm about to lose a bet because of LeBron James.
You're getting a little worried over there about the
No,
pain.
I'm honestly not. It's something that people might construe as it, but it's just something where there's so much cloudiness in this situation with Kawhi and San Antonio that I don't know where to land. And if it's the way it seems, where it seems like Kawhi wants out and it's because of frustration with the team, I don't know what that frustration is, and it just seems like he's impatient. He wants to win now, and I don't know if that's for money. I don't know if that's for legacy. I don't know exactly what his motives are. I think it'd be interesting to see what those motives are. I don't understand the move to LA because I think
it's just I want to be closer to home and where I'm comfortable with, and I just want to play in LA because I have homes there, and that's where I'm comfortable.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's maybe. It's something that I don't understand the appeal of big markets too well anymore because it's something where you even look at Donovan Mitchell, who was just drafted by the Jazz. Wasn't his choice, but he's making the damn best out of it. And people know Donovan Mitchell's name after a year in Utah. And San Antonio is such a well-run system. It's just weird to finally see it break down. And maybe I'm nervous as a Pats fan because San Antonio and the New England Patriots have a very similar system. And we see the Patriots one are people trying to crumble it down. And now we see kind of a big crack in the San Antonio system. Let us know your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard. Where do you think he's going to go? Should the Spurs trade him to the Lakers? I don't think they should trade him to the Lakers. I don't think they will. I think they're going to look out east and keep him away from them. And even if that means, it's just 1 year until Kawhi just comes back and signs with a Western Conference team, you can at least try to prevent that by trading him out east. I don't think they're gonna trade him to LA though. So let us know in the comments down below, where do you think the Spurs will trade Kawhi Leonard to? But let's move into the next topic. We are talking about LeBron James and where he will sign. Now, it's not for sure that he is going to sign anywhere. I believe June 29th is the last day he has to either accept his option or decline his option. We haven't really heard much about what he is going to do. People are most likely assuming, though, he's going to decline at least test free agency. The one thing, though, is if he does want to stay in Cleveland, if he wants to at least secure as much money as possible, he will most likely accept, because then I think it's going to work into getting the most max money as well. I mean, because that's going to be his final max, if I understand that correctly.
Until they write a new CBA.
Until they write a new CBA.
Him and CP3.
And also, I think if he accepts now, it's going to be more money this year than a first year of his contract. I think he would make $35 million this year. I know it's a million difference, not too much to a king.
35.6.
But yeah, it's 35.6 compared to, I think, like 34.9 or something like that. So not too much of a difference, but if he's going to accept, he's most likely going to take the more money. So we'll see what happens on June 29th, but we can still talk about it, because if he declines, that's going to open it up to where is he going to go. And also, if he accepts, we could still talk about, I think he might accept, but you obviously think he's going to go to LA.
Do you think he lets him know ahead of time? Do you think before the draft, the Cavs know what they're doing?
No.
That's just not a LeBron James thing.
I don't think so. I don't think LeBron knows what he's doing right now.
Total
I think he has an idea, but I think he's going to take time, especially after the draft of what every team does, especially with this Kawhi Leonard news. I think he's going to take all the damn time in the world, because it's LeBron James, and teams are going to make moves to clear up space for LeBron James. All 29 teams will do it in a heartbeat. If LeBron James is like, hey, I'm going to Utah, they will clear up as much money as they possibly need to get in there. Phoenix, same thing. Every team will clear up that money to get LeBron James. Same with Milwaukee or any small market team. They're going to do what it takes to get LeBron James in. So let's talk about it. Where will LeBron James sign? This is our hold me to prediction. So whatever happens, we know Kawhi Leonard's on the table. We know Paul George is on the table. Chris Paul is possibly a possibility of being on the table if he wants to decline out of his option. Where will LeBron James go, Ricky Widmer?
I'm going to say my hold me to him is the Lakers, but there's kind of three teams that I went through to get to that one team. Well, four teams. I'll put the Cavs in there. Cavs, I'm saying no right away, because it comes down to, if it is the Cavs, he's going to have to opt in, and then basically it's I'm staying here to then do this all again next year. I don't think he does that. I think that the game one of the finals has put such a bad taste in his mouth when it comes to this team that he's probably thinking, hey, you know what? We tried to orchestrate trades to completely redo this team. We're not going to be able to do that again. It's not going to help us. Yeah, we can get to the finals because of me, but we're not going to beat the Warriors with whatever we can work with in Cleveland. Then it leaves 3 other options for me. Stay in the East, go to the 76ers. But for me, the whole thing with that, and I don't know if I completely buy this, when people are like, oh, but LeBron James doesn't like to play with younger players, and Ben Simmons is younger, and Embiid is younger. It's interesting to me. Although they're third, I would still say no, and that's because the West, you have the Rockets, who really the best chance to beat the Warriors next year would be join the Rockets somehow. And Morey's going to do whatever in his power, trading Ryan Anderson, getting P.J. Tucker out of town. He'll do whatever. He'll move the moon and the stars to get LeBron in a Rockets jersey. No Rocket Man, pun intended, but that's his best chance to beat the Warriors, him, Harden, CP3. However, I think that's not going to work. He is going to end up in L.A. because his wife, I'm going into that of, if she told him Cleveland or L.A., I would choose L.A. over Cleveland, especially if I was on that team and what happened in the finals.
LeBron has enough money to just, I know it'd be horrible for him, but I mean, he has enough money to just have his family live in L.A. I mean, if it's that much of a problem.
Yeah. Well, they have houses out
exactly.
there.
So, I mean, I don't understand the choice there. I mean, if LeBron wants to make money and LeBron wants to at least, make the most of his career, I think he's probably going to do what's best for him outside of an ultimatum of a weird report saying that his wife gave him an ultimatum of Cleveland.
And I just think if that's true, it's just probably his wife saying, hey, we're not moving to Houston. We're not putting our kids in new schools. We're not putting them in new places in Philly, Houston. We have houses here. We have houses here. Pick one. There are 2 teams you want to go to. Pick one. If that's the case, LA's the easy choice.
Dave, where do you think LeBron James will end up?
I mean, the Warriors.
It could happen.
It's the ultimate answer because the
Sign
NBA,
and trade Kawhi and Draymond for LeBron.
Kawhi and Draymond.
Or not Kawhi, Clay. We just talked about Kawhi.
I just think he takes a vet min, racks up with the Warriors, and just gives a big old middle finger to Adam Silver.
If that happens,
Yep.
do they play this season?
Oh yeah, I think they do.
How many do
and
they
I think
win?
they do it for fun because that's
do
a
it
team.
for fun.
That's a team that could walk away with 75, 76.
Do they have a rotation where they have guys who just sit off every single night? Like Steph takes a couple nights off.
I think
KD
they
steps
do.
up.
I think they go full Popovich on it. You get some DNPs on there because guess what? You can't DNP the whole team. So look, you get national TV games regardless. You're gonna have
LeBron
2
and
All-Stars out
KD
there.
switch off the national games.
You get at least 2 All-Stars showing up to any given TV game. It's well worth it.
Do they need to get rid of Draymond and Clay for that to happen?
No, if he takes
It's
a vet
close.
minimum, no.
Yeah, but
if he needs
opts
to take the max.
if he opts in,
If we do a sign and trade.
then that would probably be. It would either be like a Clay and Iggy or a Clay and Draymond for that to work.
I wouldn't do Clay and Draymond. I know it's LeBron James, but why would I do that?
Because
I already
Cleveland,
have
that's
a
all
team that's winning the
Cleveland
NBA
would want.
Finals.
Yeah.
I already have a team that's winning the NBA Finals. Why would I give that up?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
would
do
move
it.
Draymond.
It's weird
my
saying
next
that,
3
but-
first rounders and Andre Iguodala.
To get LeBron?
Yeah.
I mean,
So you'd move all 3? Or no, Draymond and Andre is what you
Draymond-
said. Okay. See, that's interesting to me
yeah,
only
Draymond,
because
AI, and 3 first rounders.
the thing that's interesting to me about that is Draymond still has next year and the year after on his contract.
Yep.
Clay's up at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Do you
but
think
I
you're
don't
going to
like
re-sign
Draymond.
Clay?
Yeah. I think I'm re-signing Clay with that team.
So it's just Dave not liking Draymond wants to
Yeah.
get him out of town.
I respect the hell out of him. He's an amazing player.
I don't
But
think.
you need LeBron to play the 4.
I don't think Bron's going to the Warriors, and I think it's just because
He's gonna meet
his whole
with them,
legacy
though.
is
I'm
going to
just
be based
saying,
on.
if you want to win a
Well,
championship,
of course, but my thing is
what
that
does he want to do the most? What gives him the highest percentage to win? It's the same answer.
what's going to help his legacy more? If he joins the Warriors and wins, or if he beats the Warriors and wins?
If he would join the Bulls and win, that would help his legacy the most.
Okay, here's my thoughts.
We got the money.
Is I think the biggest thing for LeBron James is not getting rings per se. It's just helping his legacy.
Is it win in front of Jordan? Does he go to Charlotte?
I don't think it's going to Charlotte.
Brooklyn.
I don't think it's following
I'm
shadows.
just saying. No,
I think it's
you play
about
under Jordan.
I think it's about making sure that you can bring something to that we haven't seen in the NBA for a while. And it's not winning rings per se. It's not winning a certain amount of titles. Going to 9 straight finals is going to be something that I think is on the table. So this has to be a team that's going to be making the playoffs this year. So I think that's going to be factoring in. And I'm saying with the talent they currently have. So I'm looking at the Bulls, and I'm taking the Bulls off. I don't think he's going to Chicago. So, anyone with a pipe dream like that, I don't think you should look into that.
Not I said, Ricky.
I'm not going to take the Knicks off right now, but I think the Knicks are definitely in that camp and dangering very closely to that camp of not having enough talent there. But it is the East, so that's why I will throw that there. Because LeBron plus a couple shooters on that team, maybe they can get something to work out there. The other team is the Lakers, because I don't think they're getting Kawhi Leonard. I just stated that. I think they're going to ship him off to the East, and I don't think he's going to be playing with Kawhi Leonard. And maybe you get Paul George. But then it's really factoring in you're going to be getting rid of players if you're getting Kawhi. And so you're going to have at least LeBron and PG-13. We know that with Lonzo, B.I., and Kyle Kuzma and Josh Hart, these players, and also their 25th pick. But I don't know, again, if there's going to be enough talent on that Laker team to beat the Warriors. So you're not going to get to the finals. So I think you have enough talent to make the playoffs and then also at least make the finals. And I don't think they're going to have enough talent on that team with PG and LeBron to make it to the finals to beat the Warriors. So that's why I'm taking the Lakers off there. Also,
Conference
I don't think it's
finals
going to happen.
Warriors.
Yeah, conference finals beat the Warriors.
Are the Rockets then the best choice then?
Well, I have these teams out there.
Okay.
I have the Cavs. I think that it's out there just because you just did it.
Yep.
So I don't think it's his number one option, but I think it's on the table. I think the 76ers clearly on the table. I think that the Celtics are even on the table, and I think the Rockets are on the table. I'll throw the Knicks out there as well. And the Knicks are the simple pitch for the Knicks is they haven't won since 1973. You're going to one of, if not the biggest market in the United States. You are going to the Mecca. You are going to New York, a place there LeBron did not win, or Michael Jordan did not win a championship, clearly because he didn't play there. They don't have that god like Lakers have Kobe. They have Magic. Bulls have Jordan. Knicks don't have that. They have Walt Frazier. No offense, Walt, but you're not LeBron James.
I mean, Phil Jackson.
So if
and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
But he's not LeBron
He's
James.
not
Yeah,
LeBron
I'm not.
James.
Don't give me that look. I'm not saying they're in the same
if
conversation.
LeBron is and Ewing didn't bring a title. So if
Phil
LeBron
Jackson.
brings a title to shut up. If LeBron brings a title to New York, he is going to build that legacy because now you're having all these people on the East Coast understand what he's doing, and people are going to see the power of LeBron James. I just don't think they have enough talent.
Plus, it brings a Boston-New York rivalry with the Celtics and the Knicks.
Well, that's not even going to be a rivalry if LeBron goes to the Celtics or
But if he goes to the Knicks,
yeah, but I don't know about that. I think
Boston and New York, they hate
maybe.
each other, man.
The other team would be the Celtics. And you have a legacy. You'd probably be the best player to put on a jersey there. But again, you're going up against Bill Russell, who has 11 titles. Larry Bird, who has multiple titles. You're going up against Paul Pierce, who was the captain for a long time.
Or
so
just
that's a lot to really pull away from.
Or
so
just
Boston
to screw
isn't
with
really a
Kawhi.
team.
Or not Kawhi, Kyrie.
Kyrie.
I got Kawhi on
and
and
then
I don't know why.
the other team, and these are the two teams I think are most likely. The Rockets and 76ers. Yes, the Rockets have Hakeem. But LeBron coming, beating the Warriors, that's the stuff of folk tales. With James Harden, an MVP, and CP3, his best buddy, I think that definitely plays into it. So I think the Rockets are a team that he can really build his legacy with, and the 76ers are another one, and it's a two-pronged thing because, yes, they have Dr. J, but outside of that, they don't have an NBA legend because they were solely in the ABA for such a long time. So if he wins a title there, that's going to be something that propels him. But also, the biggest thing is that young player thing that you brought up. If he's able to nurture Ben Simmons, if he's able to nurture Joel Embiid, and they're able to win even after LeBron's gone, I think that enhances his options because Jordan didn't leave the Bulls in a great place. He didn't leave the Wizards in a great place.
no.
So I think that's
Has
something
LeBron
that
ever nurtured a young player?
No,
LeBron
I think
hates
that's what's going to
young
feed
kids.
into. That's why
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. This is going to feed into that narrative, that legacy. If he's able to take these young players to different
It'd be
heights.
a good way for him to end out his
I
career.
think it's something that it's going to leave a nice taste in his mouth because, or nice taste in people's mouth because you just left Philadelphia in a great spot. You won
And with
championships
his own
with them,
son.
and you brought
because he's
Bronny
playing
there.
with little Bron.
And they'll probably have picks at that point as well with the process. So I would say 76ers are number one, Rockets are two, Lakers are three. Even though I said not the Lakers, but I'll throw the Lakers in there just because that's the favorite right now in Vegas. And then the Celtics at four. I think that the 76ers do have a great shot to sign him just because if I was looking at it from LeBron, if I'm trying to build my legacy, Philadelphia might be the best place to do so.
Here,
Because you're going to get to the finals. You're going to get 9. You're going to get 9 straight finals. Then you're going to just have to beat the Warriors. You're still on a young team. You have the ability to push Joel and Ben to some heights they've never thought they could reach before.
I like what you're saying.
I think that could be one thing.
I agree with you that it comes down to this move for LeBron is all about what's it going to mean for his legacy. And I like the whole cute thing you did with you bring in this player here, this player. Yeah. But to me, I feel like with LeBron's legacy, because although there are some people that have him number one greatest of all time, I'm not getting into that debate, but I'm going to say this. For the general consensus that has Michael number one, you're not going to change their minds. It's your number two. So it's not, I'm not chasing Michael Jordan. I'm not chasing more championships at this point. Wait.
If he wins 4 or 5 more titles, it's better than Jordan.
Just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
It's not necessarily I need to win 5 titles at this next place I'm going to. If I can go somewhere and beat the Warriors once,
He's already beat the Warriors once.
No. But I'm saying like again with this KD team.
Oh, okay.
Because ever since they got KD, I can't beat them. If I can beat this KD Warrior mashup, then that was LeBron personal legacy, not legacy of like compared to anyone else.
Yeah.
Personal legacy, I got over the mountaintop. And for me, the 2 teams that do the best, I'll put the Sixers at 3, but to me it's the Lakers at 2 if they get the Kawhi Leonard trade. But number 1 in that scenario is the Rockets.
Okay.
CP3, James Harden, LeBron James with that Rockets team. They almost did it without LeBron. They'll do it with LeBron.
Now, that's one thing that I don't have this problem with the Rockets because, again, CP3 is buddies with LeBron, and they know what's coming there. And I think James Harden wants to get over that hump.
Yep.
So James Harden might not be. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Get over the hump of beating the Warriors. So I think James Harden is a guy that I think he wants to really define himself, and having LeBron James, it might be something that they don't clash right away because I think Harden wants it to be his team. He's been the guy there for the longest, so that might be something that bashes. But I think that they'll be able to separate that out.
Plus, he can play off ball with Harden and CP.
The one thing though with the Lakers is one, I don't know how much I trust the playmaking skills of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to have him play off ball. And especially if they get rid of Lonzo in that deal, where is the playmaking going to come from? It's going to come from LeBron James. And then also, the other thing with that is how will Kawhi, LeBron James, and PG3 work together? Because it seems like Kawhi wants to be the guy. If he's playing behind LeBron James, he's not going to be the guy, and it's not going to be even close. And with PG13, I think there's probably a close argument on who will be the guy, or at least the second guy, because yes, again, who's talented, who's more talented? Kawhi Leonard.
Yep.
But playoff experience, Paul George has a pretty decent amount of playoff experience. He's been healthier, and he's older. And the other thing is, I know they're both from LA technically, but Paul George has been kind of the guy that's been, kind of building up LA basketball. I don't think a lot of people know that Kawhi's even from LA. And we're also talking about personalities. Kawhi doesn't have that big of personality. Let's look at that Warriors team.
Where are you pulling?
Clay's a very quiet guy. Clay's the third guy on that team. He was even the third guy on that team even when KD wasn't there because Draymond was such an outgoing personality. Kawhi's probably most likely going to be the third guy on that team just because people are going to view it that way. He might not be the third best player, probably the second best player on PG-13, but it's something that I don't know how it's going to work because Kawhi might see himself as an alpha, but he's not going to be an alpha on that team.
Where are you pulling the thing that he wants to be the number 1 guy?
I feel like that's why wouldn't you want to be the number 1 guy? Like the one thing with that is he's already technically he's already the number 1 guy in San Antonio, but he probably feels like it's Pop's team, not his team. I feel a big thing about Kawhi is that I'm not pulling you from anywhere. I'm just trying to figure out why the fuck Kawhi wants out. So Kawhi on the floor is the guy, but then again, it's like it's with that is like people were wondering why didn't they trade LaMarcus Aldridge? They were thinking about that, and Kawhi and LaMarcus didn't work together. So we were thinking maybe that was something that Kawhi was pushing for. He wanted him out. I don't know what's going on with Kawhi, and maybe he wants to be the guy. So if they go and get Kawhi Leonard, and then they bring in LeBron James, they bring in Paul George, that's competition for them. I don't know how those are going to work out. And then also, how is Luke Walton going to deal with that? Because let's look back at the first big 3 that LeBron was part of. Chris Bosh, D-Wade, LeBron, they all wanted to play together. They all put that together to make sure they played together. And even then, it still didn't work right away. Spoelstra almost got canned for it. And even then, the first year, they didn't win a title. So if they beat the Warriors and then get to the finals and Boston beats them, could you imagine the outrage there? Or if they lose to the Warriors again in the Western Conference Finals, then that hurts LeBron's legacy more because he didn't go to 9 straight finals. So that's something that, again, you put together this huge super team, you left your hometown again, LeBron, you went to LA, and you still couldn't beat the Warriors. That's going to hurt his legacy even more. So I think if he goes to the finals, goes with a young Philadelphia team, and they get this close to beating them, that's going to help his legacy more than going and building a massive super team in LA and again, losing to the Warriors.
But what
That's
if he
gonna
goes
hurt
to
his-
Philly and he loses to the Celtics? Because a
That could happen.
healthy Kyrie Irving, healthy
That's fair.
Gordon Hayward.
What do you think is more
Maybe a Kawhi.
more possible? That those three, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron James, get together.
I think that they can work together. I think you're overplaying that because if there's one coach that you'd want, and if it's not Steve Kerr, you want the guy who learned under Steve Kerr, who learned how to manage superstars together and actually coached for more than half a season because of Steve Kerr's health. You take Luke Walton. There's a guy who is a player's first coach. He's a guy who lets players go out there, do their thing, and with 3 veterans who 2 are defensive stalwarts, probably top 5, top 10 defensive players, like two-way players in the league right now, top 5 for sure. LeBron James can pick and choose when to take plays off on defense. LeBron James can focus more on making sure the ball movement on that offense is fantastic. You're not dealing with a Russell Westbrook and a pissed-off Paul George because he doesn't get touches. You're dealing with one of the most unselfish players in NBA history, and with a head coach who wants it to be very team ball. He doesn't want it to be like he's not a by the numbers kind of guy. So I think that like as far as perfect setups go, that's a pretty good situation. I think I could see like all 3 of them averaging like 20 points a game.
And to be honest, like their whole organization with the Lakers is starting to remind me, if they get the big 3 that they want, will almost remind me of an LA version of Miami, where it's like Luke Walton fills that Spoelstra role, Magic Johnson fills the Pat Riley exec role, and then you got your Kawhi PG3. No. I'm not saying like
he's a public figure. Yes, they're both public figures. That's as far as that goes.
That used to be in the NBA.
I'm saying the big name in the front office. I'm not saying
there's
they've
a
done the
difference
same
between
thing.
like
I'm
how
saying
smart they are.
the LA version of that.
Yeah.
And then you have this big 3 with Kawhi, PG-13, and LeBron.
But if it's then in the same version, then they're not going to win the title in the first year.
Can they surround them with good veterans? Because that's the thing that goes underrated about the Warriors is the amount of veteran presence. Iggy, Sean Livingston, David West, Zaza, guys who actually have that experience in their career.
Even on that Heat team, Mike Miller, Ray Allen,
Shane Battier.
Let's look at that LA team right now.
Birdman.
Who's it gonna be? Oh, you're gonna depend on Lonzo. You're gonna depend on Brandon Ingram. You're gonna depend on Kuzma.
Lonzo might not be there.
Luol Deng's gonna be gone if they need to work out that contract situation. Brook Lopez is gone. They can't bring him back. So what's going to happen? You're going to rely on those 3 guys.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to find...
And here's the thing. Those 3 guys, again, I know LeBron James is the guy that doesn't get injured, but Kawhi Leonard, how healthy is he? And then look at Paul George.
Year off.
Paul George had that freak accident where he snapped his leg in half. So, I mean, I guess anything can happen. So then if you don't have veterans on this team, you're relying on young players.
Yeah.
Then you look at that LA team, and if one of those guys go down, then you're fucked. So with Philadelphia, you have, again, I understand the most, what's it called? Injury
prone man in the NBA,
prone team in the NBA with Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. But also that team is deep. If they're able to keep around Marco, Dario, if they're able to keep around go to Ersan Ilyasova, they're able to bring back JJ Redick. I mean, that's going to be a deep. Even TJ McConnell, like they have a deep amount of talent on that team. Where LA, it's going to be guys that need to step up. And I don't know where are they going to bring that back? That like 8th grade teacher that was hitting threes for the Lakers in that D League. Like who are they going to be the guys on this team?
Was it some Andre
Hawkins?
Ingram?
Yeah, Andre Ingram.
Yes.
It's just with the Lakers, I feel like if you get those 3, though, build it like Revenge of the Nerds. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I think they'll draw veterans in this league.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I was saying
Revenge of the Nerds.
They're completely
Field
different
of Dreams,
movies
not
and
even
genres.
close.
I got the quote right, the movie wrong.
Yeah.
But that's like saying
if you build it, they will come.
That was like, oh yeah, touchdowns are
So who's the guy they're going to bring?
Equestrian.
Is Jamal Crawford the ghost of Jamal Crawford's going to sign with them?
And that's the answer. I don't know. I just know that if they do build it,
who do you go?
there will be veterans that want to come.
David West
they need to be quality.
No,
veterans.
I know.
Like
I think quality veterans would want to play with those 3, mainly
Sean
just
Livingston
for LeBron.
was a top 4 pick, like, and he broke his leg in one of the grossest injuries in NBA history. But he still had talent. Like you're bringing in old, riddled injury guys like Jamal Crawford and guys who can't play anymore.
The thing I find the funniest is I think it was today or yesterday you had Kobe come out with this thing where it's basically like he's basically telling LeBron like, oh yeah, if you come here, don't forget this is my team.
That's the thing too.
It's one of the things where I started laughing like Kobe, I love you, but it's Jordan, LeBron, and then a bunch of players and then Kobe.
But in LA, now you're going to have to start against it's LA LeBron versus LA Kobe, and you're also going to have to go up against Magic, and you're going to have to go up against Kareem, and you're going to have to go up against Shaq. Like you think these LA guys from the 80s are gonna be like,
They had
oh yeah,
so many statutes.
Magic was a guy that was homegrown talent. He's a guy that's been around. He's a guy that did it the right way. Now LeBron changing teams.
If LeBron gets him a ring, they'll love him the
LeBron's
same.
New Age Magic.
I don't know about that because again, it's how it's not in LA. It's not did you win? It's how many can you win us? Kobe had what 6? Magic, I think he had 4, 3, 2.
Kobe
I
had
can't remember
5.
my time. Kareem, I think had 6.
The
as
Lakers
well.
have been bad for so long. Like this 5-year stretch the Lakers are in, they're not used to this. They're not used to being this bad. They just want to go back to winning.
What happens after What happens after the 4 years that LeBron James the contract comes up? What if he leaves again?
I don't know. I'm not a future teller.
But
I
like,
would say
then they're just back in the same void where they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
I would
and
put
those
my
guys are
money
older,
on LeBron
4 years
leaving
older.
though, because every time that's what he's
Kawhi's in
done.
his prime. Like, come on, he's turning 27 in a couple weeks.
Okay,
so
but is he healthy?
I think at this point he probably is.
We don't know. Again,
I mean,
he
he's
might
had-
think he is. What if he comes back game 1 just like Gordon Hayward? Snap.
Well, that could happen.
I
anytime.
would say,
but, like, or
don't
what
bring
if-
up
what if
those
the-
because
the
I'll just say
injury
the
flares
Warriors
back
just
up
go
again?
down in like a plane crash.
But they haven't.
Problem solved.
But I'm saying
Guess the West is
I'm saying,
wide open now,
I'm saying
Sean.
let's
That's
look
tragic.
at history.
Yup.
Like let's look
That's
at history.
tragic.
Like I'm just looking back. Like yeah, Steph has had injury problems. They've dealt with it. They've gotten over it. But Kawhi Leonard just sat out a
Counting
whole
over, it's a
season.
rough term.
But I'm saying like they've gotten over it and won NBA titles.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But get over it. Like Kawhi Leonard had to sit out a whole season. So how healthy is he?
Was
Where's he
that because
mentally?
of an injury or was
We
that...
don't know.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I'm hypothetically asking though.
I don't know even hypothetically.
I'm thinking that's
Is
more
mac
of
and
like
cheese even
a.
real?
I'm injured because I don't want to play for you
Hypothetically.
guys.
What hypothetically happened in San Antonio?
I think
I don't know.
Popovich. I think Popovich went around behind his back.
Did what? Cheated on his girlfriend? Like
Yep.
what's going on?
That.
Did Pop kill an uncle? Like what's going on?
That too.
Mob hits?
Yep.
What
All
do you
that.
mean went behind his back?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
That's
I
the
don't know
point.
what's going
The
on with this Kawhi
one
situation.
thing I will say
No
to
one
go.
knows.
It's pissing me off.
The one
No
thing
one
I will
knows. I
say
need
to go
clarity.
into that is I found it funny, and we mentioned it before earlier in the podcast, but when Mono came out and said the thing like, oh, I came back with this injury, and Tony Parker, the thing I'm thinking about is that those two didn't think to say that. Pop put that thought in their head, and they were good foot soldiers for Pop. And because Pop couldn't come out and say it, he had them say it because then it sounds better.
Also, here's the thing. Kareem had 5 with the Lakers. He had 6 total, 1 with the Bucks. Kobe had 5. Magic had 6. No, Magic had 5. So, I mean, like, you're going to have to win multiple rings. If you're only there for 4 years and you leave
I
LA,
think if he
that's
beats,
going to be a riot
if he
right there.
beats the KD Warriors, that's enough for LeBron, and he's.
Is it?
Why, though? Because then he still doesn't have enough.
Is any ring more important than the other?
I think he's done chasing the rings.
If he beats this Warriors team, and he gets a ring, is he better than Michael?
No. But
Okay.
I don't think.
So then
I
what
don't
does this
think,
help him?
Is
I
there a
don't
number
think-
of rings that
I
will
don't
make him
think
better?
he's not at the point where if we're talking Cleveland the first time,
But
he's chasing Jordan. He's not chasing Jordan anymore.
I'm talking legacy.
Yeah.
I'm talking
His
legacy. You're
legacy-
always going to be
There's no
chasing
point
Jordan.
when he will be better than Michael Jordan, is what you're saying.
I'm saying
Zero-
that his
zero
legacy is
chance.
he's not chasing Jordan because he's not going to be better than Jordan at this
There's
point.
no chance.
Yes,
So if
because
he
the
rattles
people
off
that have
6
Jordan.
straight
So if he
rings.
wins 7
No,
rings,
no,
he's
no.
not better than Jordan because he wins 15 times.
Do you obviously see that happening?
But I'm saying
We're
there's
trying to
still a
find your meter.
possibility.
No,
We're
I'm
trying to find
saying,
where you're
and I'm
saying.
I'm not
telling
saying
you
right now.
that the people that, because I know there's some people that think that LeBron's the GOAT, and that's fine. You can think whatever you want. But for the people like myself who thinks Jordan's better, that legacy will never be changed no matter how many rings you win. So because of that,
If for the next 10 seasons he wins rings, he's not going to be the GOAT.
Because of that, I don't think LeBron is worried about chasing Jordan. It's chasing beating the Warriors and getting
He
a
already
ring.
beat the Warriors, though.
Not the KD
Okay,
Warriors.
but he still beat the Warriors. So as on his docket, the legacy
And even-
is
and
the
even
legacy
people
is
like myself
beating Jordan.
Bring that one down because, Draymond got suspended. I've said it forever.
The legacy is beating Jordan. So he needs to do whatever it takes to beat Jordan. So he's going to, and if he goes to LA, not only is it beating Jordan.
Then retire because you're not gonna.
Come on, Ricky.
I mean, that's
you might be the
Why
only
even
person
play
if
the
he
sport
wins
of
10
basketball?
titles.
Just Adam Silver, shut it down. No one will ever beat Jordan. Why do we even have this sport anymore, people?
I hope they don't do that because then we don't have a podcast.
No, you just said it. There's no point to play the game because you can't beat Jordan.
Well, and
why try?
What I'm saying is in his head.
Pull it in.
his legacy. He's
Wrap it up.
He's not going to chase Jordan anymore. That's not in his
What
mind.
is he doing right now? What's his goal outside of beating the Warriors?
He's trying to
And what if he wants to go into that post basketball, that mogul stage?
I want
to go to the more Hollywood.
He wants to play
side
with
of
his
it.
son, so he's playing
Yeah,
like
he's just gonna linger around.
He's playing 5 or 6 more years until that happens.
I'm telling you.
He can still do the mogul stuff while playing.
Here's he's already a mogul. He's LeBron fucking James. Like that guy's had a Nike. He's a Nike contract for life. Like he's already in movies. The dude's already doing everything he wants. The one thing though is just like LeBron. Like it's about building a legacy, and I don't think LA is the best place to do that because you already have to go up against legacies that are already built. Magic, Kareem, Kobe. You already have to go up if you're going to go to Chicago. You have to go up against Jordan already. So you're gonna have to go up against every Chicago fan that already has Jordan in their hearts. Like it's not a bad thing, but again, you're gonna have to go up against that.
Yeah.
You need to go and define yourself. You need to do something that people have
Go
not
somewhere
done.
people haven't won.
Philly, they've won before, but it's been a while. Like in the 1980s. New York, 1973. Let's go back to the Rockets. Rockets haven't won since 1994, 1995. Back to back, and that was Hakeem, and that was only because Jordan left. So, and one thing too with that is why go to the Western Conference? Because it feels like you're cheating it out too if you beat them in the Western Conference Finals and not the NBA Finals. If you're it's like the final boss level. If you need to go up against the Warriors to win the title. You need to go up against the Warriors to become the champion. Because the only thing that people are going to remember is that you won the Western Conference Finals.
What you're worried about?
What if you win the game against the Warriors and then you go up against Boston?
So what you're worried about is basically a Reggie Miller Knicks situation of we're so worried about beating the Knicks, we finally did, and then we lose in the next
Possibly.
round.
I'm just talking
like,
legacy.
I wish it would have just been the conference finals.
I feel like if he wants the legacy to happen, you need to go 3-2 against the Warriors or whatever, or 3-3. You need to beat them in the finals.
That's why he goes to Charlotte, wins with Dwight, which Kobe could not do, sets himself above Kobe, and under Jordan, Jordan lays his up, comes back in number 45, and goes for the championship.
Where's the tinfoil?
Let us know what you think about LeBron James, where you think he's going to go. Also, I do have a bet that if he goes to LA, I will be wearing myself a purple and gold face mask. On the podcast where we talk about it. So it's going to be fun. Let us know where you think LeBron James is going to go during the offseason. Ricky thinks LA. You think Warriors. Oh, Charlotte. You're changing.
No, actually, you're right. Warriors.
Warriors, and
Warriors.
I'm thinking
that minimum Warriors.
I'm thinking he's going to the Rockets. Well, let's move into the next segment, and we are welcoming in one of the longtime patrons we've had on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. If you want to support us and you want to be like Zohnny, go over to patreon.com and hit up that $10 tier. But we're welcoming on our buddy Zohnny. We're going to call him Z throughout the podcast, and we're talking about how does DeAndre Ayton fit with the Suns. Z, you told us you're a longtime Suns fan. You have to go through the gluttony of being a Suns fan. Welcome to the podcast, and we're glad you're on talking about Suns.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here. You guys are awesome.
It's cool to finally get to talk to these people because we had Bill on, we had Jake on consistently. It's so good to finally talk to Z. But let's jump into this because DeAndre Ayton did talk that he's not going to be working out for any other teams after he worked out with the Suns. We heard long before Ryan McDonough even say that they were interested in DeAndre Ayton through the middle of the season. So Z, we always read it as Zohnny, but Z, looking at the Suns team, how do you think DeAndre Ayton does fit into this offense and this defense and this team?
Like a glove, man. I guess I could kind of start off with like the weaknesses. Everybody, has something to say real quick about his defense, but I hear you guys say it a whole lot. Defense, one of the main parts of it in today's NBA is the switching. And I don't know if you guys got to watch a whole bunch of DeAndre down at U of A. I'm a Wildcat fan as well. But that's something that was really, really impressive that he showed me this year down in Tucson is just his ability to switch on the pick and roll. Like one of the first times they played ASU, that's a big-time rivalry out here, Trey Holder, he tried to isolate him in the pick and roll. Like you could tell that they kept trying to get him one-on-one, and he ended up getting what he asked for. And I mean, he shut him down for like a whole quarter. So I think him defensively, like he's not as instinctive as everybody expects him to be at that size. And of course, when you got like Mo Bamba and Triple J in the league at the same time, showing all these amazing defensive attributes. You're kind of comparing him to DeAndre, but I think that the potential's there for him to be a great defender. And then, I kind of think about Shea out of Kentucky. I've seen him get blown by a lot. I've seen him, get broken down a lot, and people who he should have clamped up, like getting by him. And I think people give him the benefit of the doubt with just his body makeup and, his size and athleticism, that they don't give the same to DeAndre. But I think defensively he has the potential, and he will end up being that defensive anchor. And I mean, offensively, it goes without saying. Everybody sees how mobile he is, great hands, something that we lacked here in Phoenix since Amari. At the point guard or the ball handler feeds you the rock in the post, and you fumble it, you miss that split second to beat the defender and get to the rack before they do. But I think his hands is something that people really don't point out when they're talking about his strengths. His hands, he has great hands, man, and that can go a long way. And his touch, his finesse around the rim, and then his athleticism, like one play in particular that sticks out to me, athleticism, like his ball handling and all that, talking about that as well. We're playing Oregon. And this is right after the...
I know exactly what play you're talking about.
Exactly. Right after the scandal, all that stuff, whatever, with the 100,000. And they were killing them, man. And we hate Oregon out here. We hate them. But they were killing him, man, just talking so much mess, chanting 100,000 and all this. And he just got the rock at like half court and then just took it up by himself, like a little Euro step, and just whammed on. I think it was who's the guy they got in the first round? Brown or something like that?
Troy Brown. Yeah.
Troy Brown, yeah. And he just whammed all on him. So, I mean, at least I hope it was him.
Ayton's a gifted athlete. It's insane. And I think one thing that you mentioned is we do point out his defense, but I think something, Dave, that we do see, and Z mentioned it, is that he does have the athleticism, and the athleticism is undeniable. And the one thing I do want to look at that is how much do you think we're nitpicking DeAndre Ayton? Because, again, there's no perfect prospects out there. No. So do you think we were just nitpicking his defense? Because I think Z did bring up a great point, is that he might be really good in switches, and especially developing as a player. And we also talked about how much did he really care at Arizona, because he knew he was going to be an NBA prospect. He knew he was going to be top 5 and probably could have came out straight out of high school. So how much do you think that we kind of nitpick his defense?
Yeah, I think it was probably higher than it needs to be, but to some extent, there was a reason behind it. Yes, athletically he's there. And Z, you mentioned it, like him on switches, he has pretty good feet for a big man. Like for his size, he's able to move up and down the court faster than anyone would expect. My concern comes down to, like Sean mentioned a little bit, the effort. Like, was he always engaged in the games? We saw some games where they should, we assume they should have won because talent-wise, yes, they were there. They had more talent on the court than the other team, but at the same time, you're playing team game. Like, I get it. You're not always going to be able to just trump people on talent. For me, when my big worry about him is the effort consistently, and then like defensive IQ. And I don't want to take this opportunity to take a shot at another player on your team, but like Marquise Chris, the biggest knock that I've heard about him is he has the defensive IQ of a brick. So I've not heard anything about DeAndre Ayton's lack of defensive IQ. It's more so about concerns about effort. But is there any concern on that, Z?
Man, please do not mention Marquise Chris with DeAndre Ayton. If that's the case, dude, I'm quitting basketball altogether. I was one of the biggest, I probably jumped the highest when we got Bender and Chris.
I love the move too.
I did too.
I've been thinking about it all week, just to look at that draft real quick and see who we could have gotten.
Oh, don't do it, man! You're punishing yourself.
I'm not that big of a glutton. But to answer your question, yeah, man, that's something that I can agree with is his defensive IQ. And really his offensive IQ too. I'll say that as well. It's not high. And the reason being is because he didn't start playing the sport till he was 13, 14 years old. And coming from the Bahamas, he played soccer, and that's where he accredits his footwork and his, you know what I mean, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, effort though, I can't say that I agree with that. Opportunity, I think, is more of the word that I would use for his the defensive limitations that kind of showed up while he was in at U of A. And the reason I say that is just because, and I don't want to sound like a homer, but I mean, forget it, I will.
We've had some homer moments on this podcast. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like Ricky, man. No, but Ricky's great. But I think it's just because he played the 4, man, and we had Dusan Risic down there playing the 5, and that's a big dude, and he was clogging up the lane, and so I just think defensively, like the best is yet to come, and we'll see it, man. We'll see how dope he could be, and I think he's going to be that. But to answer your question, yeah, I think his defensive IQ is not that high. I wouldn't compare him to. I mean, I pray to God that he doesn't turn out to be like Marquise Chris. And I'm gonna stop beating up on him. I just had I had so high expectations for him, dude. I just thought he was gonna be the next Amari.
Dude, he was an athletic hype beast. There was no reason to not love him coming out of that draft.
And we all have anger towards prospects. I mean, I've done it before. But Ricky, you've been quiet, so I want to get you in here. And one thing that Z was mentioning,
what's up, Ricky?
that Z was mentioning and Dave mentioned was the IQ of a player. And at number 1 overall, let's look at the 2 choices that you have. You have DeAndre Ayton and you have Luka Doncic, at least in Dave and I's mind. And Z, we'll get to you because I think you got some thoughts on that matchup. But at least, Ricky, one thing that we do see with Doncic is that he is very skilled and he has a lot of experience playing professional basketball overseas. How much do you think there is a difference between Luka Doncic's IQ, both offensively and defensively, compared to DeAndre Ayton's IQ defensively and offensively?
Well, to be honest, when it comes to the debate with me of like Ayton versus Doncic, it has nothing to do with IQ. It has nothing to do with their ability at their position. To me, it's as simple as, all right, you're going to take Ayton at number 1. Are you still in the belief, because there's a lot of people, and I'm on the side of this as well, that I'm going to take the guard, I'm going to take the wing before I take the center, because that's how you win in this NBA. Like, look at the Warriors. They're not winning. I know they got Draymond down there. They don't even have a center. I mean, Andrew Bogut, Zaza, they were even throwing Iguodala out there for the Hamptons 5, and Draymond was your center, and Draymond was a second-round pick. So, I mean, with the whole Ayton-Doncic thing, that's where I think it comes to is, do you still believe, hey, we can take a center this high and still win? The thing I want to really hit on with Ayton that kind of Z hit a little bit is with me with defense, it's not necessarily the thing of like, oh, he can't play defense. To me, it goes down to the, how do I say this? Not the will to play it, but we saw at Arizona, it wasn't a fact that like he didn't want to play at Arizona, but it was like I got to play in college kind of a thing. Like, what if he didn't want to even play in college because he'd rather have gone straight to the pros? How are we going to see that with the Suns? I mean, yeah, it's a hometown team, so you're expecting that to be so he doesn't lose interest playing, because the Suns, I mean, even when we add him, are we going to say they're a playoff team? Probably not.
Well, I think one thing with that is that I think with Ayton having the validation of being a number 1 overall pick is going to help.
The thing I was going to say to combat it, though, in the end, was the thing I really liked from Ayton is when he was asked about like seeing himself in Phoenix, he compared himself and Devin Booker to Shaq and Kobe 2.0. Like, I look at that and I go, don't worry about him not wanting to play in Phoenix. He's going to be fine if you take him number 1.
And Z, I do want to go to you because you kind of said, oh, God, when I asked about the Luka and DeAndre Ayton thing. And to pull the curtain behind us a little bit, that was going to be the proposed topic was Luka versus DeAndre Ayton. Who should the Suns go with at number 1? So what are your thoughts on Luka, and why do you think Ayton is a better fit? Because it seems like you feel like Ayton's the best fit for the Suns.
I'm with you, Ricky. You know, guards dominate the league today, and I agree. The thing though is guards do, and I don't see Luka as a guard. I heard it said like a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like for Schiller or somebody. I don't remember. But they said your position is defined as what you can guard, and I don't see Luka guarding these uber talented, uber athletic guards in this league. Like, people always harp on how much of a liability DeAndre would be. Like, when I think about having Luka and Devin Booker in the backcourt, it scares me, dude. Like, everybody's going. I could blow by Luka Doncic, and I'm being hyperbolic, of course, but I mean, I don't think his athleticism can hold up. I mean, I was watching him, you know, trying to scout him and stuff with, as much as I could on YouTube. And I just did not see any athleticism. I mean, he can dunk every now and then. He's 6'8". He should be able to jump a couple of feet off the ground and dunk. But, I mean, his lateral movement, his lateral quickness, the agility, like, I just didn't see it, man. And I think that is not – I don't think that's what you want, especially in Phoenix. Like, this is our first number one pick, man. I mean, you know how it is in Phoenix. Everybody, we always get sunned, like you guys say. And God damn it, I'm tired of it. But we finally hit on it. The draft gods, as they say, kind of showed favor on us for the first time in 50 years. And this is something that we can't take lightly, and we got to be super aggressive. And that's why everybody's working out. We just had Trayvon Duval working out yesterday, and a whole bunch of scrubs. So like, I mean, they're looking at who they're gonna get with the undrafted free agents and all this stuff. They're going above and beyond, and we need that. But to answer your question again, I just defensively, if you want to say that, I mean, Luka, I just don't see him being successful defensively in the NBA. Period. But I mean, we know how good his vision is. We know. The experience that he has, and his. I mean, he can pass the ball, he can shoot it, but I don't know, man. I guess it's Milicek and all these other Euros who kind of soured me on drafting overseas.
And it seems like you and Ricky kind of have that as well, because Ricky's very hesitant of European players. And one thing, Z, you're a perfect fit on the podcast because you're already calling people scrubs, which is perfect. We call people scrubs and bums all the time. But Dave, one thing, we know you're a huge Luka fan, and hearing about the athleticism concerns,
that's all good, man.
Also the defensive concerns. What do you have to combat that? Because you've been talking about Luka ever since the regular season started, about how he is the best player in the draft. Well, at least on the podcast, because we weren't talking too much about the 2018 NBA draft until the regular season started. So, in your mind, what would you say to non-European viewers, to the people that have just watched YouTube films and YouTube tape? What do you see in Luka Doncic's athleticism? Are the concerns overhyped, or are they valid?
Athleticism can be something that you grow with. Like there is like God-given athleticism where you see guys like DeAndre Ayton. He's 7'1", his muscles are like out of control. Like,
he was probably born with that muscle.
He's a freak of nature at that point. Like it's just impressive. Luka's a guy who honestly has been playing basketball since he was born, but he doesn't look like he's on any sort of diet. He doesn't look like he lifts weights.
He looks like a kid in a D2, basketball program.
Meanwhile, he's 6'8", 230. Like, size-wise, he should be there. So I think the biggest thing for him is dietary and strength training. As soon as he hits America, those are the two biggest things that you're going to get in that first, off-season. Because Frank, when he came over, had never lifted a weight, on any sort of training course, any strength training, non-existent in France. It just wasn't a thing that they had them do. So I'm not overly concerned with it. I know it's a flaw in his game. You'd have to be blind to not see that. But I think it's absolutely something that he can grow with because he hasn't been trained. Look at the development of Jokic, and as he develops, as he gets in better shape and quits eating all these fucking cheeseburgers, the man just ate whatever he wanted to because he could. Yeah,
well, and one thing too is, and Z mentioned this, was with defensive positioning, and you are who you defend.
Yeah.
Do you see Luka as a forward? Do you see him as a 3, or do you think he could possibly, dabble in guarding 2s, dabble in guarding 1s, whether he's on the Suns or any NBA team?
I think he's a 2 through 4. I think he got a high chance being blown by some of the 2s out in the league, but at the same time, his size and his ability to go backpedal wise isn't bad. It's the lateral movement that kills him. So if people have a good crossover move, you should be concerned. But, yes, because of his size, he's 6'8", 230. He can guard 4s and 3s, and I wouldn't be terrified of it. I don't think he's going to be, a plus defender, but I think he'll be passable.
Well, and Z, going back to you, because I do want to kind of clear this up, is because Devin Booker last year showed that he was a pretty good facilitator. I think he had around five assists per game, a little under or maybe a little over. And we saw him at least handle the ball a little bit more and become a facilitator. Is that why you think Ayton is the best fit? Is because you kind of already have a guy that can facilitate the ball a little bit already at the 2 in Devin Booker, and you could even come in and draft a guy at that 16 spot?
No, I mean, Devin Booker did show that he's a pretty decent playmaker, but I think it's just kind of Phoenix, man. If you think about it, we've always had our success has been linked to having somebody in that 4 or 5 spot. Back in the Barkley days when I first I was born in the early '90s. So when we first had Barkley, like he played that four spot, and we had Tom Chambers playing the 3 or the 4, wherever Barkley did it, and we were successful then. And then later in the mid 2000s, we had Amari and Sean Marion at the 4 or 5 spot, and I think just success in Phoenix is tied to us having somebody in that role. And I don't know, man, maybe it's just nostalgia, or maybe it's me being biased because, he went to U of A, then also he played high school basketball out here. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think that, and then another thing is, the NBA, like we've established, is guard heavy now, and it's not too many 7-footers out there that are, balling like, back in the day. And the ones that are stand out, the Anthony Davises, the Cats, the Joels, you know what I mean? And we have a chance to have one of those guys, and not like them, he can stay on the floor in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Like he has that good touch at the free throw line. And I think what's his name, Hassan Whiteside, like that's what he doesn't have, and that's why he was off the floor. And Cat, I mean, I think the moment just probably got a little too big for him, why he didn't show up the way we expected him to. But I think that's something that while everybody has their Hampton Fives out and everybody has, Draymond Green at the 5 and 6'6" dudes at the 5, and if we can throw out a 7'1", 260 dude who can jump from the free throw line and just dominate, it's going to give us an advantage. Well, and I just like how. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I want to throw out there too is all these guys were the Hampton 5. All these guys, these players are going to be older once the Suns are a true threat. I mean, in 3 years, we'll really be looking at Draymond, who's going to be like 31, 32 years old. He's going to be slower. He's going to be older. So Ayton, who's going to be at his athletic peak, going up against Draymond Green, a 6'9" guy who's playing the 5, and then that's going to be even more of a disadvantage. But Ricky, I want to go to you because Z mentioned something. DeAndre Ayton, number 1 overall pick. Played high school ball in Phoenix, played college ball in Arizona. This is a guy that's a homegrown talent. Let's look at your days.
Reminds me of D Rose.
That's exactly what I was going to do. So
when I pointed, because I'm letting them
that's
curtain,
what I was going to go right to.
I pointed at you while Z was talking because I'm like, I want to say something because it reminds me of the 2018 draft. I know
2008.
2008.
We're in
2018. 2008 draft of I know we weren't picking D Rose or a foreign player, but it was D Rose or Be Easy.
Yeah.
And Be Easy had a really good year that year for the Thundercats down there at Kansas State. But it was one of those things where the Bulls, we had no business being the first pick that year. No business. We were the last team in the lottery, and we get the first pick. We take Derrick Rose, and I feel like that's almost for this, it's like what Z is saying, hey, not only have throughout his entire life he's had someone at the 5 and the 4 that's kind of solidified it down. This is a kid that's played high school ball there. He's played college ball there. And now he has a chance to not only play his pro career in the state that he grew up in, but also you take a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little pride with it. I can be the one to put this team on the map finally so that we're not a joke and so we're not getting Suns.
I would just say this is not us jinxing you with Derrick Rose injuries because may his career be much better.
He was better before. He was a lot better before the knee injury.
Well, he was an MVP.
Yeah.
But Z, I think you were about to jump in. What do you want to say about
Oh, I'm just saying, no knee problem.
Well, anyway, one thing, too, he's not going to be throwing up dunks like D Rose was and attacking with the...
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You can watch him go from, free throw line in and just with some force.
Okay, but let's remember D Rose's and the way he was always constantly landing awkwardly on his legs.
That man never learned how to land.
Ayton's not going to leave the floor too much. he can put his arms up and dunk.
Tippy toe.
But Z, it's been great getting this insight from Suns. How for sure do you think it is that Ayton's the number 1 pick? Is it 100% in your mind?
It's 100%, dude.
Nice.
Y'all probably don't remember, but I remember the Josh Jackson draft. So last year, you guys had the live draft feed. I was in the comment section back then, and it's a guy out here, one of our radio personalities. His name is John Gambadora. Dude is from New York, and man, he is the plug. I don't know who his sources are, but as far as Arizona sports are concerned, like he gets out the message, he gets out the info like 20 minutes in advance. Like how who is it?
Woj.
What's the guy? Woj. Just like Woj. Like, to be honest, if it's something Suns related or Arizona basketball related, Woj probably gets his information from John Gambadoro, man. And,
Oh my God.
And that's what the conversation out here is what we're going to do with the 16th pick more than who we're going to take number one. And I mean, I would say if I had to give it a percentage, I'd say 99.9, and that 0.1% would be Marvin Bagley, just because he played high school basketball here too. He's from Tempe. I mean, and that'll be cool to have him. And, you know, he kind of said something that was scary. He was like, you know, if the Suns don't pick me, they'll regret it. And, you know, he's going to make it a mission to destroy us every chance he gets. But, I mean, that's where I think the only doubt would come. Doncic is not even in the conversation anymore. It's weird. Like, it's a whole bunch of podcasts and stuff about the Suns. And all the podcast guys, they all wanted Doncic. Like, they're all disappointed right now because it's like a foregone conclusion that we're getting 80. But yeah, man, I think it's out of those two, but way, way, way heavy leaning towards DeAndre.
Well, I just got a question off the cuff for you, Z. I was just thinking about the 16th pick and kind of like what Dave did in our last mock draft. Suns fan, you can go full homerism here.
Oh, is this the trade?
What would you rather
trade
do?
them.
Do you want them to sit at 16 and take someone, or do you want them to package picks and move up to get somebody?
Package it, dude. Something that Ryan McDonough has been saying for the longest is, you know, we've tried to accumulate assets, as he likes to call them, and that's young players and draft picks. And he's gearing up for a big move. With all the hoopla today about Kawhi, I don't want Kawhi. I don't want Kawhi in Phoenix. And I mean, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. But the reason I don't want him is because, you know, that injury kind of scares me. I'm just pessimistic. I'm a Suns fan. It's natural. But I don't know about his injury, first of all. Second of all, his money. We got Devin Booker, and, you know, he's going to command a whole lot of bread coming up soon. And I just want it to be as smooth sailing as possible. I don't want no hiccups. So I don't want to package it to move it for a player. We have this year's our pick. This year we have Miami's pick. Then next year we have ours. Then we have Milwaukee's pick. And then in 2021 we have Miami's pick, and it's unprotected. And I want to package ours next year. To be honest, I don't think we have to put ours in a deal, like to move up. By the way, I kind of want either Trae Young or Michael Porter Jr.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
One of the two. But I think we can get the Magic's 6th pick. I think that they need a lot, man. I think they need a lot going forward. They don't. I think one of you guys said it. They don't really have somebody to build around, unless you want to say Jonathan Isaac. I've been hearing that the John Gambadoro dude way back. He said that he thinks that the Suns are going to try to make a big play at Aaron Gordon, but I think he might leave Orlando. So I think maybe, you know, the main piece they got is probably Jonathan Isaac. I don't know who else. Maybe the French kid.
Fournier.
What's his name? Fournier.
Yeah.
But like you always say, Sean, they have 10 starters?
Yeah.
So they can pick one of them as a centerpiece.
They're all 10 starters, and none of them are actually like, you know, great starters. They're all like they're all your 5th option on a good team.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
I think they need a lot of pieces, and we got those. I think as long as we jump in front of the Bulls, we'll be able to get. I'm sorry. But as long as we jump in front of
doing
the
that
Bulls,
to me,
seizure right now.
Well, it's
As long
okay.
as
We're
we
going to
jump
move
in
up to
front of-
4, and we're going to take Mo Bamba. So it's okay.
Oh, you can take him. Just leave us those two. But as long as we move in front of y'all and we get either Michael Porter Jr. or Trae Young, I'm gonna be happy. And I don't think we have to give up a whole bunch to do that. I say the 16th this year, the 31st this year, and then that Milwaukee pick next year, and then we could throw in T.J. Warren, who's got like a $50-some million contract.
Yeah, 4 years, 50 million.
For the next 3 years.
You're attacking me with that one. I love T.J. Warren.
I know, and dude, I was one of the main dudes trying to get him to get re-signed. But it depends on who we get. If we get Michael Porter, then I think it makes him that much more expendable. And just with the money that he commands right now. Yeah. But I think we could even give up Chris, like just his athleticism alone. I think a lot of these GMs are super prideful, and they like to take on projects and think that they could, turn something into something that wasn't there, that the other guy couldn't do. So I think we could package those 2 first rounders and then the second rounder and then one of those players and get something, get up there. So I don't know, man. And to be honest, I'm willing to even throw in our first round pick next year if we could move into the top 5 or so. Yeah. Because I don't really like RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson and all those dudes. Like I don't really see how they fit on the Suns, and I'm just being selfish with that. But I think the time's now, man. We got too many young dudes on the team, and we got to take that Warriors approach, which I hate the Warriors, by the way.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've got a little similarity here. So the Warrior draft plan, they got Steph Curry in 2009. Then 2 years later,
can I say something about that?
Go ahead.
So that 2009, the history between the Suns and the Warriors with that draft, right?
A little bit, but remind the listeners too.
So we had an agreement in place, I guess a gentleman's agreement with the Warriors. We're going to send Amari, our first round pick, to the Warriors for the rights to draft Steph, and then Beerchich or something like that, one of the power forwards out there, and they agreed to it, I guess verbally, and then they reneged at the last moment. So that's the reason why I hate the Warriors.
I mean, they probably couldn't believe the fact that Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn were taken right ahead. Like, no, we'll do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking back, and I don't want to pour salt in the wounds, but it looks like Phoenix at 14, Earl Clark. But the comparison I'm going to make is a good one really quick, is the camera's off on us, and you're looking at our logo. So they get Steph in 2009. 2 years later, they get Clay. The year after, they get Draymond. It looks like the Suns kind of following that same mold a little bit. Starting with 2015, you guys get Devin Booker. Then 2 years later, which would have been last year's draft, you get Josh Jackson. This year, you get your big with DeAndre Ayton. And it's the same. That's why, for me, this year could be the big one of that was the first year they made the playoffs with Steph, was his 4th year. Dev Book's 4th year is this year.
And that's something we talked about a little bit earlier in the podcast, is the fact that teams need to be more patient. And I think that's something that at least the Suns are doing, is they're being patient. They're going homegrown talent. And Z, not to bash your team, not to bash your state, but again, Phoenix is in a hot spot for free agents. So I think it's something where, again, going homegrown talent is what you need to do. And Ayton, not only is he homegrown by your drafting him, he's also, again, we talked about it, high school, college, from there. So, again, I think Ayton is going to fit beautifully with your Suns. Z, I want to thank you for joining us. It was great content for me, and we're glad you're a patron. If you want to be a patron, like Z, head over to patreon.com/podcast. It's a natural thing. But Z, thank you so much. Well, let's welcome in another patron. It's a double Patreon podcast, like we mentioned at the top, and I'm excited for this one. Jake, our 9-time patron, joining us. Jake came up with this great idea. If you ever saw it on NBA TV, it was during All-Star Weekend. They did an ultimate fantasy draft where they took every single player and picked a team. Jake wanted to do that same thing, so we're welcoming on Jake on the podcast again for his 9-time, and here is the layout of it. We are going to draft a starting 5, a 6-man, and a coach. We already picked the order. It's going to go Jake, Ricky, me, Dave, and then Dave, me, Ricky,
traditional
Jake.
Snake.
So it's going to be a traditional snake, and we got 28 picks. So it's going to be a fun podcast. It's going to be a good segment. And Jake, start us off with your number 1 overall pick.
With the number 1 overall pick, I'm going to go with the most talented and the GOAT. I'm going to go with LeBron James. He can do everything on the court. He can guard 1 through 5. I think it's a pretty easy pick.
And LeBron, a debatable GOAT. Now, one thing I want to throw out there, Jake, real quick. Do you think it's a little bit of a wimp move with the whole soft cast? Because people are making a big deal about that. Showing up and saying like, "Oh, I broke my hand," after Game 4.
Yeah, he did show there was the report though that said he wasn't going to do it until the report leaked. He was not going to wear a brace or anything, and then the report leaked, so he just wore it. I mean, I don't think you're very smart to punch a whiteboard, but at least he shows he still has passion. Go with that.
Is he a good enough leader though, Ricky Widmer?
Well, it's not about being a good enough leader. It's just the fact of I wouldn't have worn it immediately after losing. I would have waited a day or two and been like, oh, okay, he has it, and have it come out after. Even if the report comes out, I wouldn't have been like, oh, here's my brace, because I can't remember who it was on either Get Up or one of the ESPN shows. They were like, you find it funny that LeBron, all his post-game interviews was wearing long-sleeve shirts all the way up until that last one where he wore that short-sleeve one. Like, he really wanted you to see that brace.
To
like,
be fair,
hey, I really have this brace on.
Once it came out, there's no point in trying to hide it. You can't, he's trying to hide stupid at that point.
I still wouldn't have worn it. I would have just been
not as good of a teammate as the man who punched out his own teammate.
I was going to say the same thing.
Welcome to the fantasy draft, everybody. And let's move on past the softcast. I guess it's my fault since I brought it up. Let's move past the softcast and punching Steve Kerr in the face to go to the man who punched Steve Kerr in the face. Ricky Widmer, are you going to shock the world and take someone who's not named Michael Jordan?
Allen Iverson.
I almost thought that Jake was going to take him because when he was like the GOAT and he starts going into it, I'm like, oh, Jake's going to fuck with me, man. He's going to take Michael Jordan. And then he gladly took LeBron James. I got to go with MJ because much like the Portland Trail Blazers who are like, dude, we got Clyde Drexler in this, and everyone's like, draft Jordan. That's what everyone was telling Jake, and he passed on him, and Michael Jordan falls right to me at number 2.
There you go. Number 2, Michael Jordan goes off the board. 1, LeBron James. 2, Michael Jordan. I am on the clock, and I need a facilitator. I need a leader. I am going with Earvin Magic Johnson out of Michigan State University, one of the best players of all time. Also, we're taking prime players. These are their best years. So I'm taking Magic, who can defend like a monster. He can score pretty decently, but he is one of the best passers of all time.
Is this Magic against the bad boy Pistons Magic Johnson? Is that the one we're thinking about?
This is the best Magic. This is ultimate supreme Magic, uber Magic Johnson.
The one that's basically, we're going to one-hand pass this down to Byron Scott in the post.
There we go. And that's Byron Scott in the post.
Yeah, he
was like a 6'4" guard, you moron.
I'm just saying, players can be all over the place. I just said a Lakers.
Hey, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's on our team. Let's give it to Byron Scott in the post.
I couldn't remember who the power forward for the Lakers was before I was born.
James Worthy. And let's go to Dave, 4th on the. You can give us both now since you have 4 and 5. Dave, give us your 4th and 5th pick.
It is tough. I got a guy I want to take, and then I got a guy I feel like I have to take.
So take them both.
No, because they both play the same position. That's the problem.
But Dave, positionless basketball, man. But 1 to 2,
not when they're both at the 5.
1 at the 4, 1 at the 5.
Who are you going with?
Give me Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem, all-time leading scorer.
The man is a machine, unblockable. He was fantastic. There's nothing to not love about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Block him.
Wait, what was that?
Did you just say Joel Embiid can block him?
Skyhook says
Jake.
what?
It's sarcasm.
Skyhook says what?
And you have the 4th pick, so off the board, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem, who is now the 5th pick.
I feel like I want to go Tim Duncan.
Ooh. All right, Timmy D.
Lock it on the 4 and the 5.
And I am so glad that you left this man available. They are
don't do it.
Great buddies, great rivals, one of the best rivals of the 80s.
Yep.
Celtics, Lakers, Larry Legend is now on my team. So Magic Johnson and Larry Legend, Tim Duncan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and...
I got 4 words for you, Sean.
Just give me a couple.
Just
Can you dig it? I'm going with Shaq, baby. Going with Shaq at the 5.
That was the guy I was like, can I take Kareem?
Go with Shaq at the 5.
Can I take Kareem and Shaq? Was that a thing? I was like, no, I can't.
That would have been disgusting. So you got your pick. You got your number 1. You got LeBron James. But you get screwed over with Larry Bird and Shaq off the board. Jake, who are you going with that?
Timmy D was a good pick, too.
I'm going to go with my first pick's going to be Wilt.
Wilt, you suck.
Throwback.
Chamberlain.
Damn.
Let's see. This is a hard one because, Okay, I already have LeBron to be my main ball handler, so I need some off-ball shooting. I absolutely hate this man. And
I know where it's going.
I absolutely hate this man, but I'm gonna go with Kobe.
Kobe.
Nice.
Can Kobe work off ball?
I do not like Kobe. But, he's a proven scorer. He can be consistent 25 a game. He's along with LeBron and Wilt down low. two of the most dominant players of all time. I wanted Shaq. Really bad, but we're gonna sadly move on.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the mailman, Karl Malone.
Karl Malone.
We're not recording on a Sunday, so the mail's getting delivered today. I'm going with Malone.
All right.
Wow.
Karl Malone has now been picked. Now here's my team so far, and I'll recap the picks. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe, and Karl Malone are off the board. Jake has Kobe, LeBron, Wilt. Ricky has Michael, Karl, Shaq. I have Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and Dave has Tim Duncan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I have a good shooter, obviously, in good old Larry.
One of the great fundamental shooters as well.
I think one thing that I need is another shooter. I need a scorer, and I need a guy that's showing up in big moments. And maybe this is a little bit too early, but I'm going with Kevin Durant.
Oh,
Kevin Durant.
That's who I was considering.
we're going recent.
My move was going to be Wilt with my third pick, but now with this move, him being off the board, I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant. And maybe people are wondering, where's Bill Russell? Dave, are you going to take Bill Russell even though you already have Kareem?
No, why would I take
I'm just
Bill Russell
wondering.
at this point?
Bill Russell is one of the best players of all time, and he's still on the board.
He was one of the best players at his time, and even at his time, he was just one of the best rebounders. He's a very good player, but he's not. He's not like legendary status in my mind. For if we're picking a team to get these guys to play together, I'm gonna go with Jerry West.
Jerry West. Look at that.
I like it.
Jerry West off the board. Where do you want to play? Point guard, obviously?
Yeah.
All right. And then who are you going with at 13?
See, this is where it gets concerning.
So you have Jerry West, Tim and Duncan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're going to go with the small forward position, shooting guard?
I'm going to go with Steph Curry off ball.
Damn it!
No! I hate everybody.
Steph is off the board. I was going to go with him. Oh, man. All right. So, off the board, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem, Tim Duncan, Larry Legend, Shaq, Wilt, Kobe, Karl Malone, Kevin Durant, Jerry West, and now Steph Curry. This is tough because I was going to go Magic, Bird, KD, then Wilt, then Steph. I'm looking, and I need someone to play the center position. So it's gonna be Bill Russell. He is a monster. He's one of the best defenders of all time. And we're hey,
I would say the Dream Shake. I am shocked.
He won 2 NBA championships because Michael left. Bill Russell, even though there was 8 teams, in the NBA.
Because
there was 8 teams in the NBA. He still won 11 titles. So I'm gonna go Bill Russell. He still went up against Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt dominated him, but Bill Russell still won chips, and that's gonna be needed when you're going up against legends. You need guys who can be leaders on the floor, and Bill Russell not only is a leader on the floor, but also he's one of the best. He's a very cultured man. He's a guy that's gonna fight off the court as well. So I'm gonna go Bill Russell, a guy that's a great all around human being.
Now this next man, I don't know if I'm gonna put him as my 6th man. I do not know if I'm gonna put him at the 3. I don't even know if I'm gonna put him at the 2 because I could put MJ.
Here's the thing:
well.
if you draft him now, he's in your starting lineup.
If I draft him now, he's in my starting lineup, then I gotta go. I got Batman. I need Batman's Robin. I'm going with Scottie Pippen, baby.
Oh, I thought you were going
Pippen
Dwayne
playing
Wade.
the 3, man.
What?
Thought he was going a different way with that. Yeah.
No, I got Jordan. I got my Batman. Now I need my Robin, and I'm getting him with Scottie Pippen.
All right, Scotty's off the board. Your favorite player of all time is off the board, and Steph Curry. Jake, who are you going with at 17?
False. No. Chris Mullin's my favorite player of all time.
Chris
There you
Mullin's
go.
your favorite player?
Really?
Chris Mullin. Yeah, long story. But
All right.
I have Kobe as my shooting guard. I'm going to need a lockdown defender next to him, somebody who can also score, but is one of the greatest defensive point guards of all time. I'm going to go with Isaiah Thomas.
No,
I did not expect. Really? Nicely played. I'm sorry, you got
Clearly
me.
the Celtics. Clearly Celtics.
Yeah,
has it.
well, Lakers.
Oh, yeah, of
Lakers
course.
IT. Or Cavs IT.
We're taking them at their best, so definitely it's definitely
Team no
Cavs
defense. 5'6" Isaiah Thomas and Kobe Bryant on that court.
All right, and Jake, you're back up again. Who are you going with on your? I think this is your final pick for your. Yeah, this is your final pick for your starting
For the
five.
starting lineup. Yep. I need a stretch 4. He is probably, if not the best shooting big of all time, one of them. I'm going to go with Dirk.
Nice.
There you go.
Dirk Nowitzki off the board, one of the best European players of all time. Dirk now rounds up Jake's lineup, which looks like Isaiah Thomas at the 1, Kobe Bryant at the 2, LeBron James at the 3, at the 4, Dirk Nowitzki, and at the center, Wilt Chamberlain. Ricky, finish out your starting lineup.
I got to go. The last position I need is a point guard.
Yep.
I'm going to go with a guy who can pass the ball. I'm going to go with a guy who can shoot from 3.
A guy who lost
I'm gonna
to
go
Michael Jordan.
with a guy who can also play defense. I'm going with the short shorts.
John Stockton.
I was about to say.
I knew it was coming.
If you weren't about to pick him, I was about to say that
I knew
was a
exactly
mistake.
it was coming.
Well, it was either him or CP3, and I'm sorry, I don't like injuries.
But also, Karl Malone and Stockton have.
Yeah, you got that top.
I got the Bulls and I got the Jazz.
Nope, all right.
I got 2 and 2.
Yep. So there we go. All right, John Stockton off the board. Now I'm on the board. All right, so I need a shooting guard, and this one might be off the cuff. But this isn't a guy I was able to watch. But this is a guy made of legends. This is a guy that, if he was playing now, he would be like Steph Curry. And I missed out on Steph Curry. No, God damn it, I messed up. Pistol, Pete Maravich.
Oh. All right.
Pistol
I
Pete.
respect it.
I'm shocked.
I'm a little stumped.
Who do you think I was going with?
I have no
Anybody?
Anybody?
Charles Barkley. I mean,
I need a 2. I'm
Round,
putting Charles
round.
Barkley at the 2.
D Wade is still available.
D-Wade
No,
would have been.
I'm talking
D-Wade in his
off-ball
prime?
shooter. I will take Pistol Pete Maravich.
Okay.
Dave, round out your starting lineup.
Dr. J.
Dr. J. Julius Irving. All right. And now Dave, 6 man. Who are you going with to fill out that bench? First guy off your bench.
Clyde Drexler.
Okay. Clyde,
All right. I didn't even
the
think
Glide
about him.
Drexler off the board. So Dave's lineup is now looking like Jerry West, Clyde Drexler coming off your bench. So it's Jerry West, Steph Curry. Who's your 3, by the way?
Dr. J.
Julius Irving. Tim Duncan at the 4, Kareem at the 5, and now
Not too bad.
Good old.
If I don't say so myself.
Good old. Who's your 6 again? No,
Clyde Drexler.
There, thank you. I'm messing up because I'm trying to fill in the spreadsheet while also doing this. All right, so I need a 6-man. I got some flexibility with Larry, Kevin Durant, even Magic. Pistol can even play the 1. I feel like I need some. Oof.
Ooh, I already regret my pick a little.
I don't. I'm trying to think.
Listen, if you pick my guy, I'm literally gonna scream.
I don't know
right?
who your guy is. I'm
not
worried.
telling you who my guy is because then you'll take him.
I maybe I don't know if I need another facilitator or not. Oh man.
Wait, is this for real?
What?
I'm looking at the sheet. And there's a name that hasn't been taken yet, and I'm confused. So if you don't go with him at 6,
Well, that's probably who he wants to go with.
Well, that's the question. So can you, Sean? We agree podcast. I'm gonna send it across the table to you.
I'm trying to figure it out because I honestly have no idea who to go with right now. Did we miss someone really bad?
Yes, we did.
He's very good.
We missed him.
Don't take him.
He's very good. You might have ranted on him a little bit.
Dave, don't say anything.
Wait, what'd you say?
You might have ranted on him a little bit.
I ranted on him a bit.
Just a smidge.
Who did I rant on? This is horrible podcasting because I can't think of who I ranted on. I've ranted on, huh?
Like in this segment, he's ranted on him.
On this?
Like
it was
2
a short
seconds
one.
ago?
It was just a short one.
Okay.
I don't know who to go with.
Is it who I brought up?
Oh, I know who it is.
No, don't. Please don't.
I feel stupid for missing him.
Hakeem
I
Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Oh, no. that's
Yeah,
fine.
that was
All
me.
right.
I was.
I'm going Hakeem.
I was gonna say like Jesus Christ. I feel stupid
Because here's the
Like, I
thing.
love Clyde.
Here's the thing. Bill Russell, if I need some offense, pop in Hakeem. So there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's my pick.
It's your pick.
The 6th man that I'm going to go with, Reggie Miller, baby. I need some 3-point shooting off the bench.
All right.
I don't really care about that one.
Hey,
Thanks for taking
mine-
Reggie Miller.
Jake.
putting
Mine's
together my
updated.
lineup.
Jake
Putting
and
together my
Lightness.
lineup.
Jake, you're
Who's
up.
your guy?
Well, mine isn't updating, so I honestly don't know if this guy got picked or not. So.
Hold on. So it's not updating because I'm trying to do everything on the side.
Oh, okay.
So
No, I'm just making sure. I'm making sure because I don't want to pick somebody and be really excited and then look dumb.
Dirk, Stockton, Irving. Then who'd you go with? You went with
Clyde.
Clyde and and who?
Clyde Drexler.
Who's No. Okay.
You're like one row off.
I misplaced it. This is horrible podcasting. Somebody help me. Jesus Christ.
Jake. Jake, just
Pete
toss that
Maravich.
name. I will tell you.
All right, and I mean, he is a top 10 player of all time. He was the first man ever to average a triple-double in the regular season. Yeah, big Oscar Robinson.
The O-Dice.
All right.
Yeah, I thought
even
about
think
it.
about it.
I wanted to guilt Ricky into taking him.
He was gonna be my-
because
he
he
was
was
gonna
going to
be my next
acknowledge
pick.
Russell Westbrook at that point. But why would you take Clyde Drexler? All right, why would you take
Russell
Oscar
West-
Robertson
when you could take-
over Russell Westbrook?
He was gonna be my
Oscar
next
Robertson
pick, yeah.
over Russell Westbrook. Russ has done it for 2 years. Therefore, he's twice the player. No, not really, but you know where I'm going with that, right?
Would you rank?
We all know my feelings on Russell Westbrook.
Here's one thing.
I
'cause,
would rank Russell Westbrook over
Jake,
Oscar Robertson.
Jake gave me a list of the top 50 players of all time. It was AI was placed below Russell Westbrook. Agree with that? Russ is a better player all time than AI.
No. Nope.
I don't agree with that.
I wouldn't say
I think
that.
AI is a better player.
AI's
you
been
know
to a
what the really-
finals.
You know the really funny part is, I think
So is
Russell
Russ.
Westbrook would thrive with a team like
you moron.
AI had.
With
A bunch
KD,
of
though,
guys
he
who
wasn't
could
even the
just
best
shoot
player
and
on
play
that
defense.
team.
Yeah, let Jake,
Yeah, I
let
know.
Jake speak.
Yeah, what'd you say, Jake?
No, I was saying I think if you put Russell Westbrook with a team like AI had, where he just has a bunch of shooters who can shoot threes and play defense and don't need the ball in their hands, and then have a rim protecting center kind of like Steven Adams, I think he would thrive. I don't think he'd make the finals like AI did, but I think he would be better than he is now.
Was that a weaker NBA though? Could you argue that?
100%.
So, I mean,
100%.
there you go.
But he would have won the finals if the conference finals wasn't rigged. That's all I'm going to say.
Because if it wasn't rigged, I mean, what, Clay went off for 39 there? Anyways, Jake, you are now up.
Oh, no. I'm not.
Oh, what's that?
He's talking about AI.
I was talking about the Lakers.
the Lakers
the step
getting
over.
in.
Gotcha. All right. But, Jake, you're now up
coach, right?
for head coach. Who's leading these 6 men into battle?
Taking the greatest coach of all time, kind of where LeBron should go this summer, I'm going to take Greg Popovich.
Greg Popovich.
Nice call.
Off the board.
But you're wrong.
Wow.
Dude,
like
you're just wrong.
I was not like I was all ready to
Phil
take
Jackson
my
overrated.
second
Don't do that.
option because
Oh,
I'm gonna take
don't
Phil
even.
Jackson because you're wrong.
You got the
He's
MJ
not-
connection
He's
already.
not overrated. Not
Really,
only,
he had MJ
not only
and
do
Scotty, and he has Shaq and Kobe.
not only do I
Damn,
have
could
the
coach those.
MJ Scotty connection,
Paul
Dave,
Gasol,
I
who was
got-
actually better than Kobe Bryant, like per metrics, when they were playing together in LA.
he's not overrated. I was ready to take Chuck Daly because I'm like, you know what? Jake's gonna take.
Yeah, Sean, you feel happy to steal a Chuck Daly?
No,
not
I'm
taking
like,
Chuck Daly.
I
I'm
know
like,
you're
you know
not.
what? I'm like, Jake's gonna take Phil Jackson, but if you're gonna give me Jordan and then give me Phil Jackson, I gotta take him. I have to.
Sean,
And
please don't take mine though, because I literally don't have a
team.
plan. I don't have a backup plan. Sean.
I don't know who your pick is.
I literally have no backup plan. So.
I mean, here's my thought. I was going with a guy that I'm trying to figure out a guy that's that's going to be fitting my system. And I want ball movement.
Yep.
I want switching.
Yep.
I want defense.
Yep.
I want the guy that's leading
want
the
everything.
NBA now. I have athletic players that
Perfect.
kind of mold the greatest team right now in the NBA.
Perfect.
Steve Kerr.
all right, I'll take one of the best coaches in front office men ever, and Pat Riley.
Oh, okay.
I knew that's who you were
Like,
thinking.
I was doing this.
Yeah, no
Because he was
backup.
number 3 on my list.
See,
He
because
was number 2 on mine.
we're playing.
Pop.
We're playing now. We're playing now. I'm not saying that these guys aren't great.
You
Pat
had
Riley,
Magic Johnson,
but I have Magic Johnson.
and you went away from Pat Riley.
Yeah. So.
No, that's fine. Kerr's
cares?
good. Kerr's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like,
Well, he's also got Kevin Durant.
You're shit talking about this boy over here praising the greatest coach of all time, the Zen Master, and your coach. All he's done is walk into the best situation in existence,
But
as far as head coaching jobs,
those guys love each other.
and then recruit another player who is a top 2 player in the NBA.
He doesn't even need the
Like, that's
coach.
all he had.
Again-
he
again-
literally wasn't even there for an entire year, and they still won.
What would they still be the same team without Steve Kerr?
I don't know. We'll never see. Mark Jackson got fired.
I know.
Did Luke Walton go like 34-2 or something like that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not saying, but he's proven that he can coach a great team. So why not just put him in there?
Walton's open in the
Not
corner.
hard. It's like KD.
Kobe,
it's like
pass
KD
it.
saying it's harder to be the best player on a good team than the best player on a bad team. Sorry.
Not wrong.
Sorry. He's not wrong, but the way he said it was completely false. He's basically trying to tell everybody he was better than LeBron, but that's just...
Yeah, I got you.
And
That's
now
topic for another day.
let's recap the teams. Jake's team: point guard Isaiah Thomas, shooting guard Kobe Bryant, small forward LeBron James, power forward Dirk Nowitzki, center Wilt Chamberlain, 6-man not Wilt Chamberlain, it's Oscar Robertson. Then at coach Greg Popovich. Ricky's team: point guard John Stockton, shooting guard Michael Jordan, small forward Scottie Pippen, power
Ricky's team
forward
terrifies me
Karl
from the
Malone.
90s.
Can I say something?
I was about to say center Shaq O'Neal,
Can I
6 Reggie Miller, and coach Phil Jackson. Were you gonna jump in, Jake?
You could tell Ricky grew up in the 90s.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's a killer team. Now.
He
It's a killer
exclusively
team.
drafted 90s.
The only
Well, no, I was gonna take Timmy D, but you took Timmy D first.
So you had to take the child molester.
he was
I mean, you go with Karl Malone.
He was.
I was just wasn't expecting you to say it.
I have no problem acknowledging that.
So, all right, fuck Karl Malone. He's friend of the podcast. Fuck Karl Malone. And my team, point guard Magic Johnson, shooting guard Pete Maravich, small forward Larry Bird, power forward Kevin Durant, center Bill Russell, 6-man Hakeem Olajuwon, and at coach I have Steve Kerr leading those men in battle. And then Dave has Jerry West at the point, shooting guard Steph Curry. Do you want to switch that?
I mean, feel free. But for me, I like Steph off ball, but you know,
Okay, I'll leave him off ball.
they can create together.
Small forward Julius Erving. Then at power forward, Tim Duncan. At center, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then at 6, you got Clyde Drexler and coach Pat Riley. we obviously cannot decide who has the best team. So
you guys
let
got
us
help
know.
me. Ricky can decide who's the best team in the 90s.
So let us know in the comments below. Shut up! I'm telling him to do something. In the comments below, let us know who you think would win overall. Who do you think has the best chances?
Who wins right now? Who wins in the 1990s?
No,
who wins in the 1960s?
If I got LeBron, I'm going to the finals. That's all that matters.
All these players at their peak, the coaches in their best year, or at least the coaches when they're the healthiest, at least for me. Yeah. Take all of that in, and who would win in today's NBA? Who would win with today's rules? I think it's me.
Today's rules?
What? Magic Johnson's still fluid.
So really,
like LeBron James.
Jake's got LeBron, I've got Jordan, so we're in the finals. Sorry, Dave and Sean.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what are you talking about? Magic Johnson went to a ton of finals. Same with Larry Bird. Also, Bill Russell has 11 rings.
Yeah,
come on, what are you talking about? Hakeem has 2. Right. Bill Russell has 11.
Jake,
Kevin Durant has 2.
We're just
Larry
in a league
Bird,
of our own,
has
man.
4. You're
right.
Maravich doesn't have any, but Magic Johnson I think has. I don't know how many Magic has off the top of my head, but he's got a couple.
We're gonna soundbite that, by the way, without me saying something and Jake saying you're right.
You just agreed with Ricky on record.
Yeah, we agree. Podcast.
2.0.
Horrible.
Get that out of
here. Ours is better. All right. Anyways, let us know who you think is going to win in the comments down below. Who has the best team? Ricky, who do you think besides yourself has the best team?
Not you. I would say that maybe I like Jake's team because not only does Jake have LeBron, but when LeBron doesn't want to shoot in the final second, he's got Kobe.
How are those going to work together? Kobe's going to want the ball.
Kobe needs the ball in his hands.
Because LeBron's going to be. I mean, and you got Isaiah Thomas. I like Jake's team.
I think Isaiah Thomas.
I really like Jake's team.
I think there are better point guards available.
What about the fact that it says LeBron said the next stage of his career was play off ball, so we got Kobe for that.
Kobe's not going to pass.
Either or.
He can play off ball and sit in the corner.
He doesn't need to. You miss, and then Wilt or Oster or Dirk just tip it right in.
Yeah, except Wilt is no longer the tallest man by 7 inches. So there's kind of a problem there.
But
he's still tall as fuck.
Wilt is the most athletic person of all time.
I don't know.
What's that, Jake?
And he you cut Wilt's numbers in half. He only averages like 25 and 12. It's like he averaged 53 and 23 the one year.
50 and 25. 50 and 25.
Cut those in half. Cut those in half.
Yeah, and I'm sure the 5'11" center on the other team was real sad.
He went up against Bill Russell and put up 40.
And he grabbed 55 rebounds against Bill Russell in a game.
Yeah,
let's go.
Come on. That's why Bill Russell went behind Will Chamberlain. But I would have picked Will Chamberlain.
I was going to pass Bill Russell.
Look, this is my team.
Really
all right, come on. Magic Johnson. He's going to be able to stop John Stockton because he's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger than John Stockton. Pete Maravich, he's not going to be able to go up against Jordan, but again, we can put Maravich on Stockton and have Magic go up against Jordan. Larry Bird is one of the most dynamic scorers of all time. Yep. Kevin Durant, nobody can really guard him, honestly. Scottie Pippen does not have the height to guard Kevin Durant. He's 5 inches taller than Scottie Pippen.
Tim Duncan?
KD's quicker than Tim Duncan.
Is he though? Prime KD?
Yes.
Prime Duncan?
Prime KD. Wilt is going to get crossed over by KD. He's never seen a crossover in his life. He's never seen a Euro step.
Oh, my God.
He just said he's the most athletic player ever, then he said, nah, he's going to get crossed.
When Wilt was playing, America was still under English
now
rule.
You're backing up on what you just said 2 minutes ago. You just said
Well, he's not on my team, so I'm not defending him.
Narrative, whatever the hell makes him look good.
And when Bill Russell gets...
He has no principles.
When Bill Russell gets... tired, when Bill Russell is not doing great defensively, let's put in Hakeem, who's one of the most fluid offensive bigs of all time. Come on.
Yeah, when Kobe doesn't want to pass the ball, let's bring in Oster.
So you're going to put Kobe on the bench?
Yeah, if he doesn't want to pass the ball, and he's
Kobe's one of the best scorers of all time. You're going to put him on the bench?
Yikes.
Kobe's going to walk into the locker room because he's going to throw a hissy fit.
You know what I think is, and this is kind of off topic of what you're talking about, that I find more, not impressive, but interesting. Mm-hmm. Just guys that I had that I'm like, okay, if I get this deep, where am I going to go? Who didn't get drafted? Point guard CP3.
Yeah, that's what I thought Jake should have taken instead of Isaiah.
A 2-guard like D-Wade. At the 4, KG
can't shoot the 3 at all.
KG and Charles Barkley still available. And at the 5, Ewing. And because I'm like, all right, if I need a 6-man and Reggie's gone and stuff, I put Bill Walton down.
No.
And then all 4 of my coaches, except for Chuck Daly, are gone.
If you would have taken Bill Walton, I would have walked out of my room.
Yeah, thank you, Jake.
Well, hey, man, he's an energy guy off the bench, man.
He's going to be high every time he shows up to practice. Not going to be a good catch.
So is JR.
Yeah, and he cost them the final game 1.
Dave, I asked Ricky, who do you think's got the best team out here?
Me.
Well,
outside
you.
Me.
Outside of you.
Because if Dave's going him, I'm going me.
I'll just end,
Everybody's going themselves.
I'll end the segment right now if you're not going to play along.
All right, Dave. You vote for me. I'll vote for you.
No.
You already for Jake.
Realistically, the '90s Bulls plus
The
plus
90s
the
Jazz.
plus Shaq, like that's a pretty good team. I think Jake missed out on point guard, but his team's scary as hell. But
How are those
Sean's
guys going
team-
to play together?
Sean's
My guys are
team-
going to play together.
Can
These guys are
I
leaders.
ask
These guys are winners.
You really think I should have taken CP3 over Isaiah
Yes.
Thomas when I said I needed? Okay, but Chris Paul's going to get hurt before the
No,
game
it's
of the year,
prime.
like he does every
Sean
year.
clearly said
It's
it's
prime.
He
prime
gets hurt.
players.
He still got hurt.
No, he didn't get hurt.
The one thing is
his
Will
prime
Chamberlain is
player-
He
under.
always gets hurt.
Will Chamberlain never gets hurt.
It doesn't matter, but
No, I'm
it's
talking about
prime.
CP.
You were taking a prime
Okay,
snapshot
so
of the player.
If you don't like Isaiah Thomas, then take Isaiah Thomas out and put Oster in. Like that's why you have Oster. He can do everything. He can
The-
rebound. He can pass. He doesn't need the
He
ball.
does everything worse than Russell Westbrook. You're right. So why would you take him?
The
That
one
is
thing I will say to defend Jake is when Isaiah Thomas did get injured in one game, he played on it and still played very well in that finals game against the Lakers.
Wow.
I will say, I think besides me, I think Sean has the best team.
Thank you, Jake.
Because I think Kevin Durant being able to score from anywhere, and then you have Larry Bird on the outside, and you have Magic with the ball most of the time. And Pistol Pete, again, is another guy who can do everything.
Sean, if
Another
you
guy
went
I don't like is
CP3
Bill
over
Russell.
Pistol Pete,
I would have started Hakeem. I would start Hakeem over Bill Russell if I was.
Yeah,
Sean.
same here.
But the only reason
Steve
I
Kerr
go
would put JaVale McGee in probably. So.
that's fair. But the only reason why
Yeah, block
I went
over.
Bill Russell first is because I want a leader. I want a leader
Yeah,
out there.
no, I can see that.
So-
I mean, he also. Well, okay, we're not going to talk about Bill.
Magic Johnson's not a good enough leader?
Why do you need one leader? You have
Yeah, exactly.
three
Like, I
leaders
was-
out there. And Larry, Bill Russell, and Magic Johnson. Anyways, we're going to end this segment. Let us know who you think is the best team down below. I would agree that it's probably, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Dave. Because the thing is like Jake's team doesn't work as a team because, again, Kobe and LeBron James, yeah, right.
Popovich will make it work.
Popovich just got rid of his best player.
Not yet.
He didn't get rid of him yet.
Well, he ran him out of town.
Dang.
And,
Yeah, it was all him.
And I really like Steph Curry. I don't know about the Jerry West pick. But I was eyeing Tim Duncan. I was obviously eyeing Kareem. I was eyeing Steph. The Julius pick was a little iffy though. I'll give you that, especially with Scotty on the board. No, Scotty was
gone.
I don't know. I think that Oscar might have been a better fit than
I don't
Julius.
like Oscar.
Julius can't shoot, so.
Really?
I don't know if he can shoot. I don't know. I don't remember.
I was saying, you
Julius
want to
Erving.
read off some stats for Julius?
But the only thing I know for Julius is his driving ability and his dunking
Because
ability.
like I think his worst year, his field goal percentage was 40.
No, I'm talking threes. He's gonna be able to stretch out.
Yeah, I get it. I get the 3-ball wasn't a thing,
Mm-hmm.
but like I still the dude could score. He could score in bunches.
Yeah.
He could board like nobody's business. Decent passer, and defensively, freaking monster. Like I don't know.
True.
I got no problem with that.
Let us know.
And yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
No, what are you saying?
No, I was gonna talk about Jerry West actually being like legit. And
I like
you're-
Jerry West. He's a logo for a reason, but I don't know. Anyways, let us know down in the comments below. Who do you think has the best team out of this fantasy team? It's probably as hectic as the NBA TV one, where Chuck went with AI #1 overall.
Well, you know what backcourt would be scary in this NBA?
What?
Reggie and Steph. Just the two best three-point
I
shooters.
think Clay
at
is
one and
better
two.
to have.
I
next
think
to
and
Clay
then
is
Clay,
100
you're-
times
I'm surprised
better.
you didn't take
Clay.
Clay instead of Reggie.
I mean,
Clay played better defense.
Reggie was a
Off the
good
bat,
three-point
Reggie was
shooter in
clutch.
the
look at my
90s.
entire
Yeah.
all my other team
mean-
is Stockton,
I
Jordan,
know.
and Pippen
I'm just
all
saying
have
Clay
defense.
was better than Reggie.
What were you saying, Jake? You're jumping in.
I would say don't underrate the impact of Dirk Nowitzki. That dude.
The
Dirk
step
Nowitzki
back,
is
man.
definitely-
We haven't
definition.
talked about him. I'm just saying he's a freak.
That's fair. I love it. Also, your boy Reggie Miller also didn't even shoot over 40% from his career from
It
three.
was a different time.
What do you mean it's a different time? He was taking less threes. So
No,
he's going to
but
have
I'm
to take
saying,
more
like,
threes
in
now.
this NBA, he'd be making way more threes than he did
Why?
back in the 90s. Because the rules were different and the three ball wasn't as
So why is he
priority
making more
as
if
it
he's
was
taking
this
more?
time.
Also, 3-ball line was actually shorter in the 90s for a bit. So I'm just saying, if he couldn't shoot over 40% then, what makes you think he's better shooter now?
It's one of the greatest shooters of our time.
And yet Clay Thompson's
your
better than
time.
him. Steph Curry's
no,
better
of
than
our
him.
time, of all time.
Not-
Reggie
no,
Miller
no.
is easily in the top 5.
Ray Allen,
5.
Steph. and-
I'll give him 5. He might be
Maybe.
number 5.
I don't know. I still think Steve Nash might be a better shooter than him. Anyways,
This guy
let us
didn't
know. I was keying him for my second, but Hakeem was on the board.
Yeah.
Anyways, let us know who you think is the best all-time team. Who drafted the best all-time team on the
It's
Fast
Dave.
Break. It's the end of the podcast as well, so we want to thank
Definitely,
Jake for joining us and giving this topic a fun 30 minutes. We also want to thank our boy Z for joining us as well on this Patreon podcast. Let us know what your thoughts about the fantasy draft was. LeBron possibly leaving Cleveland and where he'll go. And also Kawhi. Are they both going to go to Jake's team in Philadelphia? Let us know. But that's going to do it for Dave Oster, for Ricky Widmer. I'm Sean Anderson for Jake, for Zohnny. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostofallpodcast, iTunes, and mostofallpodcast.com. But we will see you next week.